back, just like that, like we never left. New stream, new us.
Same seats.
We just got to jump right into this match. Welcome to the top 8 here of the AGE PTI Gold Foil Tournament here in Los Angeles, and we have got our first match of the day for you. We've seen him twice already. It's fitting. Let's follow this man as much as we can through his tournament run because he is part of the judge community here in Los Angeles. He was one of the head judges yesterday, the head scorekeeper, Evan Bridges on his Trench Lexi, the 3rd seed here, going back up into an Icelander, a different Icelander than we saw in round 1 of this tournament, Eric Dauernheim, who is made a great run in Swiss yesterday through the Battle Hard and missed out on the top 8, but now is once again back. Here is the 6th seed, going to see what he can do against Evan Bridges. Now, we saw him yesterday playing into Azuri, and he was unable to find enough damage without the Frost Hexes in his deck to close out that match. But what I'm curious about is if those slots were taken out of the deck, it was probably done so for a reason, and perhaps it was done to shore up this Lexi matchup, knowing there were going to be a lot of Lexis in the field. So I'm curious to see what kind of exciting cards could we hope to see in Eric's list, given that there aren't, at least from what we saw yesterday, Frost Hexes, a staple of Icelander decks from the past.
And things like the Channel Lake is super, super good at denying these Lexi decks, at going wide and being as aggressive as they want. So I think Icelander has real game into this. I think who's going first? It's Evan's going first.
Evan's going to get to decide.
To get to decide who goes first. Since if people who don't know, if you're in a top 8 scenario, it's not a dice roll that gets decided. It's the higher seed gets to decide who goes first. So Evan's probably going to choose what? Go first or second? What do you think the best bet would be?
Now, you know, Lexi decks primarily like to go second because they can set up an arsenal if they can with Voltaire, but then you're giving Icelander the free free arsenal. So I imagine Evan might choose to go first here. Just set himself up with the 6-card hand, allow Icelander to do whatever Icelander wants to do on the first turn, but without playing out of the arsenal. Sometimes you don't have an incredible first turn in the Icelander deck because it really depends on the 4 cards you draw. Do you get to resolve an Insidious Chill for free? There aren't any Amulets of Ice anymore. That was a great turn 0, turn 1 play for the Icelander deck here. So looks as though Evan, perhaps based on the way the body language is, went ahead and gave Eric the first go at this game. So Evan's going to be going second. He's not afraid of what Icelander can do, and he's okay with Icelander being able to set up an arsenal for his first turn. So let's see.
Because he has Trench? Trench is what Evan's specialty is. I am not very experienced. I've not seen too many Lexis use Trench.
Oh, yeah.
He has made it to top 8 in 3rd. So probably the Trench affects this matchup considerably. It allows him to get resources to soak AB. It allows him to unfreeze things that have traditionally been frozen in Arsenal. So I'm really interested to see how this will pan out. Both players having really sick builds.
So now this is a really good Winter's Bite to start off for Eric here because this is going to take at least require some pitch and require an extra resource on the next anything that happens here. So this looks like a blue, perhaps. So we've pitched 1.
Yep.
So we have 2 floating.
He does have the option to crack that Frostbite this turn if you would like, because you can activate Voltaire at instant speed.
Oh, yeah, he will be. He's going to be loading an arrow. He's got to get the value off this premeditate. So Eric's got 4 cards in hand. How much can you pressure the arsenal? You really want one of these attacks to hit because you'd like to get a ponder token for your next turn, especially because the Trench list is supposed to utilize the ponders. It's supposed to draw any card it wants off those ponders, plop it in the arsenal face down so that it can trench it away if it needs a resource or if it's a clunky non-go again attack. So Evan, you know, but the one thing that extra bit of, because it wasn't just the 1 Frostbite here, it was also requiring the extra pitch for the Winter's Bite. So what that's going to do is going to make it so he can't load both of these 0-cost arrows. He's going to be able to load 1, but then he's not going to have any pitch for the rest of his turn. So that was a pretty good Winter's Bite there. That's going to stop an entire card from Evan here. This is just going to be an endless arrow for 7. But endless arrow for 7, still pretty threatening, because if you let that go back to the hand, suddenly there's your pitch for your drill shot, or your drill shot can pitch to your endless arrow once again. Oh, it's actually going to be for 8? It looks like, because perhaps he gave it the +1.
It's probably +1. There's no go again on it currently.
Yeah. It looks like no go again, so he's just okay with taking the ponder.
He has Snapdragon, so it is an option to snap and just bring it back to hand, which he might choose to do so. Double sync. All right, so it's not gonna confirm hit. Evan would have to have something instant speed like a Rain Razors here, but he does not. He says, well, you passed the defense check. You had both D-reacts. Guess what? You get that. I'm going to try next time.
So this is about the most moderate start we've seen from Mr. Bridges. He's been running pretty hot on stream, so we're going to see how he wants to handle. We've activated the Coronet Peak here, and rather than trenching, Evan's just going to go ahead and pitch a card.
Yep.
And it looks like he made a little bit of a grimace, perhaps thinking about the card he pitched and that he wanted to trench. Regardless, we are now moving back to Evan's turn as Eric is going to do what Icelander wants to do, plop a card in that arsenal.
Always a scary, fun little surprise that Icelander. Sometimes she does pop a blue, sometimes she doesn't. It all depends on her hand and how she draws. Sometimes it's like a surprise, like what's the instant one that she plays? Is it Winter's Bite?
There's a bunch.
There's a
Oh,
bunch.
you mean Blizzard?
Blizzard, yeah, the Blizzard. That one's super great.
So we're going to activate the Trench. We've gotten a resource out of our face down card, which was that Endless Arrow from last turn. So in response to the Trench, before I believe the resource is even on the stack or like available. Yeah, we're showing that the resource is on the stack waiting to be like harvested, so to speak. So before that can happen, Eric does have priority, and it looks as though he's going to decide, does he want to add a little disruption to the mix here? And this is going to be a blue Aether Ice Vein. You have to imagine it's going to be fused with this blue frosting.
Yep.
So there's only AB2, so this is going to take cards out of Evan's hand. If he takes any points of this damage, that's going to require discarding a card or paying the 2 resources.
Often, I think the solution here is if you are going to, you just pitch and soak 1 and then pay the 2 with the blue. But it looks like he trenched already, so he's paying 2 and he paid the 1, right? Because he had 1 floating from trench, and that's the blue. So now he has 2 floating, correct? Now he's going to use 1 to load Voltaire. Trench allowing him to kind of get over these ice cards that are trying to ship cards out of his hand because he can pay for those on hits.
And this, now here we go. This is another moderate turn for Mr. Bridges. This is just a Heat Seeker for 6.
Yep.
Looks as though we're just going to pass priority back, and so the last Endless Arrow in his hand just going to plop into the arsenal. I got to stop saying plop.
Plop.
I don't think I want to say that anymore.
No.
I think I'm done with that.
Load.
Mm-hmm.
What's some other things, verbiage we could use?
Park.
Park, that's a good one.
Deposit.
Deposit. You're really good at this.
Plorfink. We could say plorfink if we wanted to.
I don't think that's a word.
It's certainly not. It's certainly not a word, but we could say it.
Yeah, we could. So it looks like, though, as you're describing, it's very moderate. Evan's trying to find a way in. 3 of a kind's a great way to overpower Islander, but Islander's been a great job of being defensive. Art of War, though, is going to break right through those defenses. Hopefully, this 3 of a kind.
So here's what happened here. We played a 3 of a kind from our hand, but before we're letting the 3 of a kind resolve or passing priority to Eric here, we're going to respond to our very own 3 of a kind with our very own Art of War. So this is going to, looks like he's choosing the go again mode. If you can see that, he's representing the go again and the +1 on the Art of War. So he's not worried about drawing the cards off the Art of War because he's drawing 3 cards from the 3 of a kind. So rather than dig even further into his deck, he's just saying, I'm going to give my next arrow +1, and I'm going to give all my attacks +1 for the turn, and I'm going to give my next attack go again. So Eric goes ahead and passes priority.
Because you have to ask Islander, she is a wizard, if you are allowed to do these things without her reacting. Because she could have responded to that, did not have a response. Endless Arrow, the second one coming right out of Arsenal. This is going to be go again 5. 5 such an awkward break point, especially for Endless Arrow. Endless Arrow is one of these things that can make this turn go absolutely insane. He has enough pitch. He has the go again. He hasn't even used any of the Voltaire yet. Yep, Eric recognizes this and gives you 2 cards immediately. I think this is probably the proper thing to do. He knows he can't rain razors now because of the 3 of a kind doesn't allow you to play cards from hand. So very safe block for sure.
Supercomputer has just handed us the deck lists. Let's take a look at these top 8s.
Bolton shot, continuing the go again chain, just absolutely, bringing the heat to Islander, wanting to try and get as much poke damage as possible. Eric says this is a really good turn for you. I probably should block.
We're a little face up here because Eric, realizing that there's going to be the extra value off these Art of Wars, just deciding I don't think I want to let as little damage come through as I can. So I'm just going to block with the whole hand, block 12, and see how much is going to leak over. Right now, at least looking like 6 is going to hit.
Says, okay, that's fine. It doesn't have go again currently. It says it looks like the damage is accepted, so Evan cannot snap anymore. So
I accept your damage.
Yep.
So he says. That's
and I put the 1/1 counter.
And I will give you a -1 counter. Upon what you say?
Does he choose? He chooses.
Yeah. Evan gets to choose upon the resolution of the damage, choosing the Ironhide Gauntlet there.
Very interesting.
Saying if you want to pay 1 to give that a block, now you're paying 1 to give it 1 block,
One
which
block,
is just
yeah, 'cause it counts
significantly
that.
worse than the +2 would normally get. Now you can't utilize a defense reaction for 4 and your Ironhide Gauntlet to cover up something like a 6 arrow. It's only going to block for 5.
It definitely affects the game. It definitely, I mean, Dual Shot's great. I mean, it's super good at getting your armor. But I think putting on the Ironhide Gauntlet is the best bet, as that's probably the first armor that's going to go besides your hat, your crown, and your tunic. You don't want on that. All right, Rain Razor is being revealed in Arsenal. So this is, I always hate this. Lexus is doing me all the time. They like, all right, they show me the Rain Razors.
They do it to me all the time.
All the time. They show me the Rain Rangers, and then they're like, all right, I'm not going to play
Attack
it.
for 5.
Yeah, you want to block 6?
What do you want to do?
Come on.
Yeah.
What could possibly happen? And
Yeah,
you know what could happen.
Because here, if you want to block what this could potentially be, you have to give 3 cards. Because look at
Yeah.
this. It's going to be up to 7 with the Rain Razors if the Rain Razors is played. We can also see there's a second Rain Razors in his hand. So this could be basically 2 cards for quote-unquote 8 if you want to play both of them. Or perhaps you want to play just one of them on the turn and save the Rain Razors for later. Because we're only going to be able to get 2 arrows out of this hand. Because that's all we have available to us if we're the Lexi player here.
Right.
Now, Eric, potentially realizing that it's curious. I'm curious if there's a red parked in the arsenal or deposited or porflinked in the arsenal for Eric here, because he's passing priority back in such a way, and he just might not be having an opportunity to deploy the card that is in his arsenal. So that Rain Razors is a pretty easy block when they only are going to present 5 or 6. If you can get it to 7, because not only does that cause the 1 point of damage to come over, the Blood Rod Pox is also going to do points of damage as well.
Because you're going to have no cards in your hand after Lexi's done attack.
Yeah. And so by not playing the second Rain Razors immediately, it does look as though we're going to be saving it for our next turn. We'd rather have our Rain Razors do something on a 3-arrow turn than a 2-arrow turn.
You're very correct with that. You know, knowing your threat density in your deck and how much damage you can do, sometimes just playing or vomiting all the cards onto the board from your hand is not the solution. You need time to set up, especially at high health, 30 to 37. There's no way he can die from here. Let's use our resources as effectively and as efficiently as possible.
Searing Shot coming in for 7.
Threatening 8 because if it hits,
Precisely.
it was an extra 1.
And that's a lot of damage when you're at 30. I mean, it's a lot of damage when you're at 40
It's
or
like
20.
almost a fourth.
Yeah, that's not a lot. I mean, that doesn't feel good.
Nope, it does not.
So,
and it doesn't have a go again currently, but if you don't think Evan would snap, he could do that and put Trench on the bottom. There's so many cool, interesting things you can do with Trench and kind of like stack your deck a certain way.
absolutely. Well, it's similar to the Crown of Seeds effect. You can hide cards from your arsenal to the bottom.
Yeah.
It allows you to, well, it doesn't draw you cards, so it doesn't get you through your deck patcher like Crown of Seeds, but it's a consistent option for Evan to get resources, unlike something like the Tunic that allows for you to only get it every now and then. Now, Eric went ahead and took all 8 of that damage because he had a Findall's Fighting Spirit in his hand, so that's going to gain him a life. This is basically like, I'm going to take 8 points of value, and then I'm going to return 8 points of value. Eric here still keeping that arsenal, still not deploying his arsenal. Again, I'm curious if it's a red card. I'm curious if it's a big red attack or an Aether Ice Vein or something that he is unable to deploy. If it's a D-React, why not play it? Why not save yourself some life?
Oh, that's true. Sure.
So, like,
I wonder what it could be then, yeah.
Yeah, so this is going to save him or get him a point of life from playing the Findall's Fighting Spirit, and then Evan looks as though he's going to just accept the 7 damage himself because, again, while Icelander does want to be getting both players to be lowering their lives at the same kind of rate, get to around the 15 and under life total threshold so that she can just close the game out with Stormstriders, unfortunately, or for Evan, knowing this, he's an Icelander player himself.
Yeah.
He's at enough of a life lead that he doesn't have to be worried about that yet. He's able to accept some of this damage because he's going to be able to continue the pressure upon his Icelander opponent and hopefully put him in a position to be unable to survive.
And that's exactly right. That's what he needs to do, and that's exactly the game plan he's sticking to. Putting the pressure on the Wizard, not allowing them to set up, especially Icelander. Here's the blue Aether Hill. I think he was just waiting for the right break point here. So that's a big thing about Icelander is she can interrupt your big turn, right? So this is what pretty much Eric's did. He held on that. He said, it's going to give you a Frostbite, so I'm going to wait when I think that you have no cards in hand. He says Evan has 1 card in hand. He says, okay, hopefully it's a red. Yeah, there you go. He was able to strip it out, and now the Endless Arrow isn't as threatening, especially without the Lightning Press.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we've lost the Frostbites on the turn, so if we... Now, this is fascinating, because this is coming in for 8. If it's not blocked, we can snap it, we can rain razors it, and we can bullseye bracers it back in. But it looks like that's good enough for Evan. He's going to go ahead and allow for just that to get blocked out by those 3 cards. No ponder, but we're going to save the rain razors again for something like an Art of War, like a two Codex of Frailties. I don't know if that's what you want to see, but perhaps we use one of them to pitch for the Art of War. This is where we can filter the hand a little bit, as Eric just once again arsenal to pass. It wasn't a big red attack, but like you said, he was waiting for an opportunity for the disruption to matter in this matchup. If Icelander's going to win, those Frostbites have to really do something. And on a turn like that, when it was all reds in the hand for Evan, that was a huge turn to get the Frostbite because it made that lightning press be turned into a pitch card.
Yep, and it was not as effective as Evan wanted, and forced him to waste some cards he might not necessarily waste, but use cards not as efficiently as he thought it would go down.
So for Evan's turn here, he's going to go ahead and use that Art of War to filter his hand, draw 2 cards, and buff his cards by 1 before loading with the Voltaire. Eric's going to respond, draw a card, give him a Frostbite after a Premeditate was played from Evan here. So now we're resolving the Voltaire, but after the Voltaire is resolved, there's a Frostbite, which means this Drill Shot is unable to come in for free, and that Codex of Frailty that could have continued this great turn now has to be turned into pitch. So this is a turn, these are turns that if you just had a Tunic sitting at a counter and you could respond to the Frostbite with the Tunic, get a resource, that'd be pretty nice. But because Evan has been actually in a funny way been kept off of a face-down card in his arsenal, he's not getting any value out of his Trench.
Yeah, that's the big thing for people who aren't familiar with Trench, is that in order for you to sink it and get that resource, the card has to be face down. It has to be buried treasure. That's the only reason the pirate wants it. It gives you money.
I'm like, yeah, that's good. Buried treasure. It's like face down. Nice.
Once something's face up, it's pretty much stuck. So Evan cannot get rid of the rain razors right now. So it kind of limits his arsenal. Some of the rain razors isn't the worst thing to have stuck in your arsenal. You can get it out whenever. It's just Eric's doing a great job of throwing those Frostbites at the right time and disrupting it, and pretty much not making it efficient for Evan to go all out. We're seeing 1 big arrow here. He can't continue past this. He doesn't have no more arrows in hand, and I don't think the rain razor is coming down.
Now for 9, this could represent an easy 3-card block, and then you just, again, drop another card into your arsenal for the Icelander player here. If it hits, though, you do get to create a Frostbite, and you put another -1 counter. So Eric looking like he's getting ready to put 3 cards in front of this, realizing the value of the hit. But we have it. We have the 2 floating. We're going to cash in our Ironhide Gauntlet to make up for one of those cards being most likely a 2 block to make that a total of 9. We're going to block the whole thing, which means no ponder, which is really big for that Rain Razors, because one of the only ways we're going to get 3 cards out of, or one of the easiest ways to get 3 arrow attacks out of our turn is when we start with 1 in our arsenal already when the turn begins.
That's very true.
So without giving him the ponder here, that Rain Razors, it's just been chilling, and most likely he's going to chill until Evan wants to get as much value as he can, which means probably a 3-arrow turn, so it can become a 0 for 6.
You ever stare down the barrel of a loaded gun and you're just like waiting for it? But that's a crazy thing about...
No, I haven't, and I don't wish to.
No, you don't want to, trust me. This is very... That's what it feels like when you have Rain Razor revealed like that. It's just like, at any time, I could just die from overhit on this on-hit effect.
Yeah.
But you guys see how interesting this plays out with Islander. Islander is very efficient at blocking with 3 cards arsenaling, arsenaling, as long as the arsenal card is a ice card.
Yeah, this is a mini window here for Eric, because we've now gone ahead and we've activated the Voltaire, Evan being a little premature and just dropping the card in before the priority was passed back, but we've loaded the Searing Shot, and now you'd have to imagine, if you're Eric, you don't have to worry about the Rain Razors. However, before the Searing Shot comes out, we're going to play a Winter's Bite from hand. So that's going to immediately tax the hand of Eric. Now, if we use our Arsenal card here, and we can use the other resources, perhaps not as important, but it looks as though instead we're just coming in with a Searing Shot for 5, and we're giving the rest of the hand so we don't take 6 damage. Eric doing a lot of blocking and waiting for those windows, but in doing so, just giving Evan every opportunity in the world to draw into his 3 of a kinds, his Art of Wars, take these turns to the next level.
Yes, sir, you're exactly correct. And that Rain Razor, once again, still sitting in there. You know that big turn's coming at some point. It's just how many times can you interrupt what he's trying to do in order to fend him off being at full power?
So we've got the Rain Razors and the 3 of a kind, so I think we just kind of got to send it.
3 of a kind comes down.
3 of a kind is okay, says Eric. We're going to pass priority back, draw 3 cards, but I'm not seeing a lot of arrows yet. And you see him kind of hold on that last one because we saw a Codex. This time, because Evan has a bunch of different tricky things he likes to do in this deck with all of his Codexes, his Premeditates, his Art of Wars, sometimes it might be hard to find every arrow you need on turns like this where you want to make the most of something like a Rain Razors. But we're coming in with the Bolt and Shot, and now here is another tough position for Eric because
so crazy.
you know, if you let the load happen here,
Yeah.
normally you're just worried about an arrow, but a load on this turn means you can play another card that you otherwise wouldn't be able to because you're under the effects of Three of a Kind.
And it's like you have to block because it has go again. So there's going to be more scenarios. You just have to pray that you have a D-React that can cover this.
Representing 3-block, saying if you give this +2 and it goes to 7, I'm basically saying I have a D-React. You know,
Yeah.
I'm only blocking 3. I'm saying I got one. Do you think I got one, or do you think I'm just blocking? Or do you think I'm just bluffing?
Evan's checking his
Yeah,
graveyard.
let's see how many D-Reacts you have. I mean, at this point, if you just... Yeah, it's tough, because if you throw the Rain Razors out and he does have it, great. If he doesn't have... If you just pass priority back, you kind of force him to use it anyway, and then you get to see. But if he doesn't have it, you want to get the damage in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of on Evan, because if he passes priority now, Eric is forced into either playing the D-React if he has it. Yeah, it looks like he's just going to pass priority. So he's saying, do you have the D-React? You have to play it now, or I'm getting the reload anyway. Oh, no, he wouldn't get the reload because he has to play the Rain Razors. Interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a very
arsenal. It's a very interesting mind conundrum here.
Yeah. So
he says, I call it?
Yeah, calling your bluff, and I'm just taking the 2.
He says, I call bluff?
We're saving our Rain Razors for later, folks. That's very interesting little play there by Evan not going for the Rain Razors, basically saying, I'm okay waiting.
That's the stuff that eats you at night. It's like, what was the right decision there, you know?
Yeah, I mean, let's see if there is a D-React later on this turn. That was a super interesting little turn there.
That was a fun little bluff on Eric's side.
So we're pitching away whatever Codex that is. I can't tell because it's a Marvel. This is now just coming in, it looks like, for 5 with the go again here, which is interesting. Perhaps we're going to utilize our Snapdragon Scalers, but again, we have to... Maybe we're going to utilize our Quiver on our turn, using our extra resources to Quiver and see if we can hit an arrow. But again, if we hit an arrow and we could have used our Rain Razors to get multiple instances of that +2 and we don't...
Ooh, Blizzard's good here.
This Blizzard is going to be big because now we're saying this is going to lose go again unless you give me 2 resources. And if you don't give me 2 resources...
Then no go again.
There's no go again. But it's basically like a blue check because if you pay the 2, you now have a Frostbite to do anything else with. So you need like a total of 3 resources to continue your turn.
It requires a lot, and especially now because the Rain Razors isn't free.
Absolutely true. We do have the 1 floating if we want to play the Rain Razors, but...
Evan said, I do not need this to have go again. But once again, still have to worry about the Frostbite. You said that we do have the 1 floating traditionally, but no go again's no go again. It's for the turn, right? Or is it just that one? He can't snap and give go again.
No, yeah, losing can't gain. Losing can't gain. All right, so it looks like priority has been passed back. There was no D-React on that turn. We're taking the 5, but again, that Heatseeker trigger is just going to put another card critically face up into the arsenal too, so that's not going to be able to be trenched away. We're going to see 2 cards face up, and it's going to be, but if you're going to hit a card face up next to a Rain Razors, it couldn't really get better than a Bolt and Shot because, yeah, you need a way to give it go again, and you need a way to pump its power up. How about the Rain Razors? That's sitting on its left.
Amazing. Definitely amazing. I'm very patient. Oh, a CNC, though. It's going to require cards out of his hand, which it demands an answer.
Yeah, you don't want to lose a Bolt and Shot and a Rain Razors.
He can't trench it either.
Now again, so this is a life deficit that Eric is really trying to fight out from behind. This is a pretty good way to disrupt Evan, looking at the cards in his hand, seeing how he wants to go about this. Because again, that Bolt and Shot, if you don't have a way to pump it, it doesn't have go again. So that means you really have to play both of those cards in the arsenal on that turn. And those are 2 cards you want to play with a bunch of other cards in your hand.
Yeah, those are definitely the in-hand cards. So them being face up is
wow.
Gonna be an interesting puzzle for Evan. He says, I don't need these. Oh my gosh, that's scary, because I'm like, what do you have in your hand where you just took the seeds?
Absolutely, and also, I mean, it's tough because, of course, you never know what's going to happen, but Evan could have played that Rain Razors at any time throughout this game and gotten damage out of it, but was saving it for the right turn, but unfortunately, the right turn was a command and conquer to the face. So we took we took 6, and we lost it when that could have been damaged later earlier in this game. So Evan... We're going to see if he's able to come back from that type of a blow. It looks like he's going to play for this Blizzard on the Bolt and Shot. We're only keeping a single card in hand. It is a Codex. So that Codex is going to be able to do some work, even though you're going to have to pay the 1 for it.
And there's his other Rain Razors getting pitched to the bottom right now. And we've already seen one before that, so he's not going to see that until the second cycle. Look deep into it, it looks like, the Rain Razors.
And I don't think either deck really wants to get to second cycle, but perhaps Icelander is hoping to block enough, but it's kind of a tempo game plan, going back and forth with it.
Lexi is really interesting because her cycles are way different because of 3 of a kind and Art of Wars. She can accelerate through her deck really fast.
Eric with a little laugh, curious what he sees, and hey, Evan pointing to the camera, not sure exactly what happened there, but we're just going to go ahead and close the chain because we're paying 1 for Codex. Now, there are attack actions in Eric's deck, so he is going to have to put a big red attack into the arsenal here. Something like most likely a CNC we're going to put in, but this now allows Evan to grab, if he wants to, an Endless Arrow, and he can turn this Endless Arrow into an Endless Arrow for 4, back to hand with Snapdragon Scalers, and then an Endless Arrow for 5 with the Bullseye Bracers.
Eric was just thinking about that right now. He was doing all that math, and he realized, because he's going to have to discard 1 out of hand, which really hurts, right?
Mm-hmm.
He does...
We've already played a D-React this turn.
Yep, exactly. And if that big red guy gets stuck in there, he can't actively disrupt Evan with Frostbite because it's not a ice card.
Yeah, he has to find a window to play it. Oh, and look, he has a Channel Lake Frisian in his hand. That's absolutely something he'd like to play to.
Yep.
That's something that's going to allow him to
Yep.
get back into this game. But now on this turn, if you want to... Oh, he just took a drill shot. That's not an Endless Arrow.
Nope, you guessed wrong.
I did guess wrong. Why not just take the...
Evan knows more than you, so he probably did it for a reason.
He probably did do it for a reason, but I am surprised by that. We're going to ponder. We're just going to put whatever it is in there.
Yep.
Now this E-Strike is able to come in. We're going to bottom a card. It's just going to come in most likely for 5 with the draw card ability. Boom, there it is. That's an encase, so that's
dude,
also
that
not going to be able, but it's not going to be able to disrupt Evan on his next turn.
That's true. No disrupt on the turn.
A red encase here is a great card because it can freeze Lexi and make it so you can't activate that hero ability, but because it's a red card,
You can't do it on his turn. Like I said,
can't
give
do it
that
on his turn
Frostbite.
unless you want to blow the Storm Striders early. It does allow it if you're Eric to just keep a 1-card hand of an ice card, play the encase for 0 on your next turn, and then put the ice card back in your arsenal. But let's just see if we even get there, man. Here's a 3 of a kind, priority passing back.
I think this is the last 3 of a kind, no?
That is his last 3 of a kind, yeah.
Yeah.
So, as they say, if you can play 3 3 of a kinds,
Do it. If you play 2 Art of Wars,
Do
it. You can play all the red arrows,
do it.
And speaking of red arrows, here comes the Blood Rot one. This one hurts so much when they codex it, and I have no cards in hand. I'm like, I'll just take 7.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Eric.
Eric here, Evan representing, I will say, a lot of pitch, because that's another part of the utility of 3 of a kind is you draw cards that you want to use for your turn, but the way you can also use them is just for resources, man. So, like,
I love
if
this
these
game. I love this game. And so this one doesn't have Gogan currently?
Oh, yes, it does.
Oh, it does. It's not represented via the...
The token? No, yeah, but it's got Go Again. It would be for 6 if it didn't have Go Again.
Yep. It's true. So, I think you definitely double block this one, for sure. This is just so much damage. It's hard because you get so much value off of it. If you block with 1 card, it still does, like, 4 damage, which is...
Yeah.
So you say, I'll do that.
Oh, this was from Arsenal.
Wow.
You got me.
Dude, I got you good.
You got me. No, it was from Arsenal. I didn't see that he played it from Arsenal.
Come on. Our sponsor, Fat Mellow Tokens.
Come on.
Wouldn't let us down. They always let us know the board state. See? Boom.
Oh, yeah, Evan is good about that. You're right.
Yep,
I missed it coming from Arsenal. I was staring
good.
around the room at what else was going on.
It's all good. So we got 4, which is a good break point on a... Is that Searing Shot? Let's call it something else.
That's a Searing Shot. No, you're right.
Yeah. And so it's 4 representing 5 damage for the on-hit. He took it, and now this is going to be an inertia shot. Eric, gonna use some of his armor. He says, we're getting to the point of the game where I'm almost out of health, and I need to start pressuring you. You still have plenty of arrows in your deck.
It also has Go Again here, meaning he's representing either the Quiver or the Bullseye Bracers. We're going to block all 5 of it with our Sink Below and the 1
clean.
left. So we're just going to Arsenal here.
Yeah.
Critically, because it was chosen to have Go Again and not having the +1, he was able to shore ball that damage, allowing Eric here to do exactly... Oh, wait, no, we're Bullseye Bracers.
Now we're Bullseye Bracing. Yep.
What am I talking about?
Yep,
Here's a Bullseye
You're just
Bracer.
cleaning up the chain.
Yep.
And that one's next one's +1, right? It's kind of like a Frostbite, but not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Next attack gets +1, which isn't going to be relevant on this turn, but here's the thing that is relevant. It's just 6 damage.
Blocking with a channel like Frigid, doing his best to soak up that damage. Goes to 2.
Sorry, I'm just passing notes back and forth with my supercomputer.
Passing notes in class, Samuel.
I'm passing notes back and forth with the supercomputer.
Oh, yep.
All right. So we're going to take the 3 damage, it looks like, off of the hamstring shot.
Yep, he had to. That's all he can block. He can't
Yep.
block from Arsenal.
Yep. We kept our tunic around.
That in case really gunking up. Imagine if he was able to throw a frostbite somewhere in there, how much it would just reduce Evan's damage.
Channel Lake Frigid.
Yep. If he could get Channel Lake Frigid up, he'd be loving it.
Yeah, so here's another blizzard. This is kind of a last gasp from Eric here. He's already down to
So
2
good.
life.
That was a good draw.
Evan, you know, the ceiling without Metacarpus nodes is 12. If you can find an Emeritus Scolding, you can find a blue Ice Bolt from hand, Waning Moon. That's how you can get them down from 12. But here at this point, Evan sitting comfortably at 18. There's no way to get beyond that with your Storm Strategist turn. So Eric's still trying to find a way to chip some more damage in and stay alive.
Evan has the priority for sure. He is sitting comfy with a 16 health advantage here. But Islander can shut him down in lots of ways, so we'll see.
I mean, that blizzard actually ended up taking the whole turn here. We're going to just come in with an
E-strike?
E-strike. This is going to be maybe
7, I imagine.
got to be just for 7 because then it's still just that red in case.
5?
Chilling. Oh,
5 and what? No, 7. Okay, yep. So coming for 7. Now, I always like this play, just a good old 7 vanilla, because people always take it. But that's like a lot of damage. Like
there's a lot of damage, and it puts, and Evan knows what the threshold is of death. But the thing about that threshold, because Eric's at 2, every single attack that gets represented here requires the decision, do I go for it or do I block? So
Yeah.
Evan will be putting himself in the danger zone of just getting blown up by Storm Striders in the most optimal of scenarios for the Icelander, but he knows Eric has to go for it as soon as the attack is represented, which means Evan's going to have plenty of cards in his hand to pitch. And that 12 damage, right, like, you need to have exactly the right cards, but you also need your opponent to be completely empty-handed.
That's true. That's very true. You got to find that little pocket of air, I would say.
So
where you
Evan did
come
go ahead and take the damage, but in response to the Art of War, we got to go ahead and use the Storm Striders. No passing
go for
back.
Trigger, doing the encase, getting it out of there, because the Storm Striders do instant speed.
So this is huge because
Massive.
this is exactly the way, by not activating Lexi to start this turn, it is now going to be frozen for the remainder of the turn because there is no way to prevent all of this damage. There's only AB1 here. So, and with the oh, this is sick though.
Yeah, he can respawn on the layer.
So before the encase resolves, we're going to go ahead and trench away the card that was in our arsenal.
Face
so
down.
now Lexi is back and live. So we can AB1, take 2, but now the arsenal is opened back up. So when we draw these cards off of our Art of War, the arsenal is open. We're seeing the trench do the dang thing.
Oh my gosh. Who knows? Who knew you just needed to be a pirate to resist the cold?
Yeah, so Eric here, against a normal Lexi, that would be pretty critical being able to Storm Striders in the encase because without having any way to flip the card, if it doesn't have a natural go again, the turn's basically over. You can't load anything, but because it was trench, because there was a trench sitting there, that card was able to be Hail Married out of the way, and we're able to continue with an Art of War turn now, which turns this into attack for 7. Lightning Press.
Yep.
Waning Moon.
Soak.
Take 2.
GG.
Fist bump. Game
Evan's the
over.
winner.
Evan Bridges moving on to the semifinals on his Trench Codexy list.
Codexy Lexi.
My gosh.
Loving it. He was playing fast too. He knew what he was doing. This is such a cool custom list. I really love to pick his brain a little bit. Maybe we might be able to get in how much we don't have infinite time in a top 8. But talk to him a little bit more about his thought process and the build and why he likes this. We saw it shine in action. Why it's awesome.
Yeah, we had him on stream in the Swiss rounds talk about his deck, talk about his list, but that was I mean, if we're talking about why Trench has some game and has some play, that I think was a perfect example of how you can utilize slightly more interesting selections in your equipment slots to great effect. I mean, that in case was going to stop that whole turn.
Yep.
It's still going to be a way to climb back, but if you stop the whole turn there, your opponent's only at 11. You come in with a big red attack. They block with a couple cards, or they don't block. They go down to 4. All of a sudden, you know, you don't have your storm strategist, but you're at least still in the game because that turn is shut off. But the trench able to, you know, safety valve away that card out of the arsenal, gain a resource even, and turn on the rest of the turn. That's literally the game-winning play, the trench-winning play. Sheesh!
Yeah, no, that was super sick, and you know, I think we'll see more people try it out against Ice. Oldham's gone after this weekend, pretty much into the next month, but Islander's still gonna be around. And I think that you're gonna see more Lexis and more Rangers need to bring Trench to deal with her interruption. Like I said, those in cases, and because it just digs them out, it's gonna be super cool tech that Evan found. Because I tried doing Trench on like Riptide, I didn't know what I was doing on Talishar. I was like making mistakes. So I was like, that's not how this goes. So I'm always very impressed people can make Trench work because I couldn't figure it out.
That was sick. That was sick.
Super sick.
Well done, Evan Bridges. Moving on to the quarterfinals. He faces either Matthew Vore or let's get the top 8. We can look.
We can look. It's updated.
Yeah.
They finished.
Evan Bridges is going to be facing either Bryce Platts or Matthew Vore. You have to imagine that game is going to be going long. It's either a Lexi Mir or an Oldhim matchup for Evan. I'm not sure how he has considered his matchup into Oldhim, but we will be finding out if he has to play into that matchup.
Yep.
And then on the other side of the bracket, those matchups very well likely might be over. So what we're going to do is, I think, take a quick break.
Yep.
Figure out what's going on next. Grab the next
players.
games. Talk to the players.
Yep.
Are you sticking around or are you heading home?
This will be my last one I'm casting. It was a great time. It was a great event. I'm happy we had so many players come out. I'm happy I got to hang out with you again, Sam. It's always so nice to see you every month. And see you guys and talk to you guys in the chat. It's always great. Seeing the familiar faces and new faces pop in, watch this little plant that we started kind of grow.
Look at this. Look at us. Who'd have thought?
Yep. So thanks, guys, for watching. Stay tuned. We're going to have some more exciting matches come up with some of the best players on the West Coast. Sam?
And all over now. Got people flying in. Brody's Bros from Texas.
And Texas.
And he's cleaning up.
Canada, Singapore. We had everybody come out for this one. And I'm just so happy to see us become the community I know we can be.
Absolutely. Well, we thank you for being here,
course,
as always, my brother. We are going to be back momentarily, just a little break as we get the next matches to you.
Yep.
And we will be back shortly. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Welcome back, everybody, to the AGE Gold Foil PTI tournament. I'm here with Blake Meyer, and he looks way different. Way different. Blake, what happened to you?
Hey everybody, it's Blake. It's me, Brody. I was just playing quarterfinals. Again on Lexi today. I just lost to Brian Lorenz, another really good player, also on Lexi today. So we are very soon going to be casting his semis match versus a Viscerai.
Yeah, you're going to be casting your defeat, the person who defeated you. So I'm assuming you can be impartial, and not just root against him the whole time.
To be honest, Brian is a friend, and I honestly am going to be rooting for him.
That's fair. That's okay. That's fine. Impartiality is overrated anyway. So what happened in that game? It was a back and forth, swingy game, big Lexi kind of vibes.
Huge turns, crazy Lexi mirror. It was a really interesting game. So I kind of high rolled at the beginning, I would say. I chose to go second, and then he loaded an arrow on turn 0. On my first turn, I shot an endless arrow, had a rain in hand. He blocked 6, so I didn't rain. Shot one more arrow, arsenaled the rain. Next turn, he attacks me with Remorseless. And I think for a long time. I'm like, okay, take 5. And I have a nuts hand. I go rain, codex, load endless arrow, shoot endless arrow, snaps, 3 of a kind, 2 more endless arrows, 4 arrows,
Yep.
20-something damage turn. But I'm under Remorseless, so I take 6 from it. So huge Remorseless from him. And then I had another Rain 3-Oak turn after that, so I was way ahead. But then he had a 3-Oak turn, and then another Rain 3-Oak turn. So it was really close, 2-1 in the end. But yeah, he squeezed it out.
Well, we are glad we get to have you here for casting the next quarterfinals match. I mean, you can't win them all, right? You can't win 2 back-to-back Battle Hardens and take down the PTI event. You got to leave some for the rest of us. So I appreciate you giving some love to the California players. But we are glad to have you here for our next match, which is the quarterfinals between John Ho on Viscerai versus Brian Lorenz on Lexi Live Wire. This will be a quick one.
Yeah, it's not gonna last
This will be
too
a
long.
quick one. No, but it'll be good to get some of your insights upon what we are going to be seeing here between these 2 lightning fast heroes from Arcane Rising and Tales of Aria. And it looks as though they are ready to go. We're going to be drawing up. John, as the 4th seed, is going to get to elect which turn he wants to go. And it looks like he went ahead and let Brian go first on Lexi. Yeah, go for it.
I think that makes sense. Both of these heroes can kind of high roll on turn 0, especially Viscerai. He can have these Mordred Read the Runes turns where he makes a ton of rune chance. But I think ultimately it makes sense to just choose to go second. It is an aggro mirror after all. You want to just have the tempo, present real damage first. Viscerai, by the way. It's really exciting that we have a Viscerai in top 8, in top 4 now.
Yeah.
I am super hyped to cast this match. It is my current hero versus my favorite hero.
Whoa, okay.
So it looks like Brian's going first, pitching a blue to Voltaire. Got a red drill shot loaded.
Looking over on John's side, as we most likely we're just getting a turn set up here for Brian, going with the Grasp of the Arknight instead of the Vexing Quillhand that we saw popularized by your teammate Zach Bunn into the Rangers in the Calling Baltimore. He talked about using the Vexing Quillhand to turn on his big turns. John here clearly having a bit of a different strategy by going for the Grasp of the Arknight, valuing the block value rather than the ability to just turn on a hand with a bunch of rune chants.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think Ironweave and Creepers are pretty standard, but there's actually quite a debate with the arms and the headpiece. You can go for Crown of Providence for, again, more block value, stop Lexi's breakpoints, or Crown of Dominion for the aggressive value. And sometimes people play all 5 blocks. Sometimes they go full aggro, full, high roll,
Yeah, totally.
crazy Viscerai.
Casino.
Yeah, but I think that this is a totally reasonable setup. He has a 5 breakpoint block and a 4 breakpoint block, and then the gold token to hopefully have one massive turn.
Yeah, now, because the gold token might kind of indicate that we're looking to really spike a big, crazy turn. And Vexing Quillhand can be a huge part of the engine. We saw John actually use it to incredible effect in his game earlier on stream. But he's kind of doing a little bit of both. He wants to be able to block some with the Grasp of the Arknight, but he also wants to have that gold token available to him for that crazy Mordred cash-in turn. This turn, however, looks to just be a red meet and greet without go again at first, but we're going to be activating the Spellbound Creepers on our very first turn of the game just to turn on the go again because there was no Arcane presented as of yet. So we have the Rosetta Thorn coming in for 2, 2, and 1 here, which will, if any Arcane damage comes through, is going to let those Spellbound Creepers stick around.
Yeah, so slightly clunky hand, but Brian is not able to block the Arcane from the Rosetta Thorn, so the Creeper is acting as kind of like a free fixer here. 3-card 9 being presented. John's going to get a setup in Arsenal. Looks like Brian is thinking most likely going to take 5 from the Thorn, but maybe he doesn't have the most clean hand there. Looks like multiple blue arrows, maybe. Heatseeker, Frostlock, and I'm not sure what the third one is.
Flip it. Drill shot.
Is that a red drill shot or a blue? Interesting.
We'll see. Yeah, some kind of a drill shot. Now, the thing about when you see these, high-level players, sometimes you're just priced into. You don't want to get like devastatingly bad value out of your hand here. And a red meet and greet without going in, without doing anything else, that would really be not the way to start the game on the front foot. So even though it's early in the game, we're going to activate our Spellbound Creepers because we need to really go ahead and maximize our hand, even though it's only the first turn of the game.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so it looks like Brian's cashing in the snaps turn 1 here. He's coming in with what I think is a red drill shot, and then he's going to snap it. Most likely we'll see Lexi ability and then maybe fire 3 more arrows at most after this.
And now Brian here, this was the hand he set up for himself on turn 1, right? The load the 1 and then arsenal the 2nd. So clearly he was okay with cashing the Snapdragons in kind of no matter what, right? Because if he set this turn up for himself, maybe he was just priced into it and they was the only cards and he valued still having a 6-card hand even if he has to blow the snaps, not necessarily hoping to get some codex, rain razors and endless air shenanigans. This is really just, these might have just been the cards he drew because it's interesting to see him do this to himself in a funny way. Like this wasn't a ponder token. He loaded both these cards in himself on his turn 1. He said, I still got to use my snaps here.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. There are some games where you get all the way to the end of the game and your snaps and bullseye are still just sitting there unused. So I think it's actually a pretty reasonable play for him to just say, you know what, we're going to cash this in for 4, maybe more because of the on-hit damage, and just get guaranteed value out of that snaps from the get-go.
Yep. Next up, we're going to load in. There's that drill shot. It does look to be a red one, so it's going to be coming in for 4 with go again. John Ho saying, send me the bill. Here comes that 4 damage, taking him down to 32. We're going to put our second -1 counter on the Grasp of the Arcanine. Now, there's another interesting thing about the Grasp. How often are you able to get the full block out of it because they got these drill shots running around?
Yeah, this is clearly John likes his hand a lot. He's just saying, send me the bill. The armor's getting hit. And Brian is now coming in with a Heat Seeker that I assume has go again. So we're going to see 9 more damage presented total. John's thinking hard. Seems like he's got a strong hand he wants to hang on to.
If you're the Viscerai player, you're saying this is one of your favorite decks. How often do you think you're really trying to block 3-card, Mauve into Shrill into Rosetta Thorn? Like, is that going to get you there, or is it really either block a lot or come in with the big turn you have set up for yourself with the arsenal, with just the cards you draw? Do you want to be kind of trading a little bit of damage and blocking, or do you want to be really like either blocking or attacking?
It's really interesting. I think definitely 1 or 2 enormous turns trying to make use of a Mordred Tide and like the gold token we see here are important to win the game. But there's a lot of like nuance in these in-between turns where you want to try to stop some break points, but still usually Viscerai's cards are worth significantly more attacking than blocking.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a balance of Lexi's on-hit effects versus Viscerai's, offensive power.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the time when Lexi plays ice effects, you end up just having to accept that you're going to block your whole hand this turn if they've got like an ice quake, so every hit gets a frostbite. I don't actually know how many of those effects Brian has in his deck. It looks like right now he just hit on the Heat Seeker. He has a Yellow Bolton shot flipped in and is considering whether to double arsenal that Endless Arrow that we saw hit.
Because we've already used our snaps.
Right.
So if we don't draw any pump for this Bolton shot, we're all of a sudden priced into a turn where we can do one thing.
Right, it's quite dangerous. I suspect we'll see Brian opt not to arsenal this, but I don't know. Maybe he's got... I know when I played against him, he actually has some premeditates and lace with frailties and things like that. So maybe he has quite a few pumps. We've got his deck list here. It looks like, yeah,
He's
2
running
lace.
lace with frailty and lace with blood rot on the list.
Yeah, and 3 premeds. So 6, 0 for 3 pump effects, plus the rain razors.
Looks like he didn't arsenal the card, but we're coming in on the other side. As we're looking down at the deck list, we have a Mordred Tide, we have a Mauvern Skies, we have a Revel in Rune Blood to just to make enough rune chance here, because it's just a Rune Blade card. So we're just looking to make enough rune chance to make this Amplify the Arcanite free. We're not going to be able to get the 1 card 5, 6 value off of it can be on a Mordred Tide turn. We're just trying to make enough rune chance so that this Amplify can be free.
Yeah, this is interesting. He only has 1 card left in hand, I think, so I don't think we're going to see any Creepers action here. The Revel will destroy those rune chants at the... Oh, he played a Mauvrion, sorry. So we're going to probably see this last card pitched to Rosetta for 6.
Yeah, interestingly, the only thing he blocked with on his last turn was that Aether Ironweave, leading to believe that he's maybe planning to use it this turn for something, because he wanted to make sure he got the block value out of it.
Oh, Sam, you're totally right. I completely missed that. Okay, that makes me think that this last card in hand is either a Gloomveil or a Revel, or maybe a Red Shrill or something like that. But yeah, Gloomveil or Revel here would be totally nuts.
Let's
Huge
see.
turn.
Yeah, we're debating arsenals on Brian's side, and John's saying, hold my beer. Check out this hand.
Oh, it looks like, is that a Rain Razors in Brian's hand? So
It
I
is.
think he made the safe play, but he actually would have been
He
rewarded.
would have been rewarded. And like sometimes you have to make that decision looking at your deck and think to yourself, listen, I haven't drawn any of my pumps.
Yeah.
That means that the likelihood is actually rather high. When I'm playing Lexi and I'm looking at the Bolton shots, like, you know what, I'm gonna draw a pump. I like you can't know, but it's like I'm good. Like I haven't seen any of them, and you just have to play towards the likelihood. Brian, not wanting to get blown out by the potential non-go again, but it would have been rewarded there.
Yeah, it's hard. I do think I agree with Brian's play. The potential blowout if you just draw a ton of two
So
blocks.
tough.
Yeah. I would say at least before this turn from the Viserai, he's kind of ahead in this game, so you just kind of want to take the safe play. But this is quite a swing from Vis.
And we're just blocking anyway, so we're going to take the 6. Now here we go. We're activating that Aether Iron Weave. It's why we blocked with it on our last turn. So we have the meet and greet, which is only going to cost the 1 resource, meaning we're coming in with the Rosetta Thorn afterwards. So we're making another 2 rune chance. We're definitely dealing some Arcane, so it's going to have go again. We're also going to be able to keep our creepers around.
This is so powerful. This is even better than Gloomveil or Revel. He's getting an additional 2 rune chance if it hits, which it looks like it. Oh, maybe Brian's thinking on the meet and greet. This is an incredibly strong turn for Viserai.
Seeing why he just went ahead and took all that damage, said, yeah, I can handle this because like you said, they want to play for their spike turns, and sometimes they don't even need the gold token. When I was playing Viserai last week, I didn't resolve a single gold, cash in until 4 games in.
Yeah.
And I won a bunch of games.
Yeah, he can go nuts. This is a really cool game so far. Both players kind of presenting a lot of damage and on hits. We don't always see a ton of on hits from Viserai, but we got the Mauvrion Skies and 2 meet and greets.
Mm-hmm. Players not playing a lot of Consuming Volition. I like that card.
That's a spicy card. That's
I
a nice
card.
Ranger tech card. Yeah.
Okay, that one's going to come in, and now here's 4 rune chance and the 2 from the Rosetta Thorn. So that's bringing Brian Lorenz all the way down to 16. Now the one saving, or quote unquote saving grace for Brian here is he's leaving John Ho without an arsenal. So Viserai with 4 cards is a little less scary than Viserai with 5, but for Brian here, we're going to activate the Tunic, come in with the Endless Arrow. It's going to have go again. It's coming in for 4, and we know that last card in his hand is the Rain Razors.
Yeah, so this is quite a powerful turn. Assuming John says no blocks to any of it, this can amount to 17 damage off 3 cards.
Sheesh.
Plus, you get to still Arsenal, so you could call it a 2-card 17, which is completely off the charts.
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit above the rate that people are normally evaluating their Flesh and Blood cards upon. Let's see. Now, but he is thinking about this block. He has the 1 block left on his creepers. It should be at. I guess it's just at the 1 counter. So it's yeah. So this is going to block it for 4, but we are now coming in with the Rain Razors to push it over the top. So even though the block was there, this is going right back to hand.
This is such a powerful 3-card hand. So now he attacks for 5. If John wants to block it, he can force the use of the bullseyes. But no matter what, this Endless Arrow is going to be coming in again for 6 or 7, threatening to give Brian an arsenal this turn.
Yeah, this is what's fascinating about this is because the Bolton shot cleared out that arsenal, you don't need to use the bullseye bracers yet. You're presenting 2 potential problems to John here, and that Endless Arrow it has a date with the arsenal. It's coming in there no matter what. So it's up to John to decide if he wants to stop the reload now. But if you use the bullseye bracers afterwards, you're still getting in for what would that be 7 damage, and you get to arsenal it anyway because it's definitely going to come back to hand.
Yeah. John's thinking hard here. He knows the card in hand, so everything's face up for him. He's got 3 cards. I wonder if he's considering trying to block the final Endless, but it's awkward because if he doesn't block here, then the Endless will only come in for 6, so he could 2-card block it and take the damage from the Bolton shot, but stop the arsenal.
It'd be 7, right? Because it'll come in with the +1 from the bullseye.
If he's able to reload it off the Bolton shot.
Oh, you're talking about off the Bolton shot.
Yeah, if he chooses. It would be interesting to see. I wonder if Bolton shot hits, we might still see Brian opt to use the bullseye for +1 and basically the guaranteed hit. Not guaranteed, but it would force a 3rd card from John to stop it. That decision really comes down to if he thinks he's going to be able to get another use out of his bullseye later in the game.
But we're saying no blocks if we're John Ho here. We're taking the 5, and we are going to reload, so we're coming in for the 6, and this one might be the 2-card block, and there it is. John Ho going to go ahead and put those 2-3 blocks in front of it, stop the Endless Arrow, but, critically, that means that we get to keep our bullseye bracers for later in this game, and that can be really important for something like a bullseye bracers. Give it the +1, turn on the go again, and the reload effect. John having to take his entire turn off, just arsenaling a card and drawing up.
Yeah, so we are back to Brian. Life totals are pretty even at this point.
That's a 3 of a kind and a Rain Razors in the 1 hand.
Oh, man.
In the 1 hand. On the 1 time.
So maybe we're going to see this bullseye immediately get used. Seems like a good time to do it. So he's got a searing shot, heat seeker. Oh, that looks like maybe all reds, but he does have several resources.
Yeah, still got the 2 pitch floating towards him, and there's not going to be any disruption from the Viscera here. This is all, you know, what can you do to me?
Yeah, the endless arrow seems like it's likely to end up giving him maybe +1 pitch and end up with an arsenal. So infecting shot coming in for 7 go again. Blood rot on hit.
Pretty good.
Yeah, all these
Seems pretty good.
these disease cards from Outsiders are just, we see them time and time again, so strong. The laces and the arrows, like, it's just a normal card with, if it hits, you take an additional 2. That's almost another full card in itself. So John's got Sonata, Shrill, and 2 other cards here, plus his arsenal.
Is it a little hard to see when he's flipping them like that? Is it a little hard to see when he's flipping them like that, Brody Spurlock? Just curious, just curious. From you in the broadcasting perspective, a little challenging to see.
It's a little hard to see.
Yeah, a little hard to see, a little hard to see. I wonder what other prominent players in the Flesh and Blood community flip their cards fast enough that smoke comes out of them.
I can't think of any.
Can't think of a single one, right?
No, nobody here for sure.
Nobody sitting at this table. Anyway, looking back ahead at this infecting shot for 7 with go again. Now, it's 7 or 9 if it hits. And John Ho at 17, 9 is, half your life here. So you have to be thinking of how can I block this card effectively? And if I can't, and if I don't want to, can I push enough damage to take cards out of Brian's hand on his next turn? Or else, he's just going to be dying pretty soon.
Yeah, it's very likely that Brian's just presenting lethal this turn. Like we said at the start, this is an aggro mirror. Both decks trying to go vroom and play all their cards. It ends pretty quickly.
Alrighty. We're going to go ahead and most likely activate a second time with the Voltaire. That's the second activation. And critically, we still have our bullseyes available. So this is going to be coming in with go again for 7 and representing another on-hit effect.
Oh, and he does have a blue card. Yeah, so final card in hand, I believe, is Endless Arrow.
Jesus.
Yeah, so 7 into another 7 after this. John has to block with at least 2 cards to live here. It's not looking great for him.
Now, and it's curious because that Grasp of the Arcanite, it represented that 1 block on that 1 turn, but the rest of it got eaten up by, that drill shot. It wouldn't have been, I don't think game necessarily changing, but on that huge Mordred turn, if that was 3 more rune chance for his, from the Vexing Quill hand, he wouldn't have had to play the Mordred Tide to make the Amplify free.
Right.
He could have just cashed in the Vexing Quill hand. Boom, you already have 3 right after the Mordred Tide.
That's true, and then that means that Revel in that hand ends up being 7 rune chance. So
that turns a lot on for him.
This game, Vexing would have definitely been better. It's interesting to see these things play out. Like in some games, you have these really critical 5 attacks from Lexi, and the Providence or the Grasp end up being key. In this game, the Quill hand would have been better. Viscera's equipment is quite a puzzle.
Yeah, so John Ho does have it in the list, and because we saw it earlier on stream, so it shows, one of my favorite things about Flesh and Blood is you can make not necessarily game-winning or game-losing decisions, but sometimes game-winning or game-losing decisions based on what equipment do you decide to equip at the beginning of the game. It's that deep of a game system that you have to make the right call sometimes, and you really feel it often when you don't.
100%. I've had so many games in Flesh and Blood where I feel like I lost just because of one deck-building mistake that I made. And I think about it after the tournament, and yeah, so many decisions that lead up to your games in a tournament. It's really cool to, it's like punishing in defeat, but also rewarding when you learn from it.
Yeah, 100%. Now, look at this. John Ho, I mean, he knows what's happening here. This is going to be, that attack had go again for a reason. So this Bullseye Bracers, you got to throw it in. We're representing lethal and drawing a card basically on hit. This is going to come in for 7 here.
Yeah, so he must block with 2 cards, and even then the Blood Rod is threatening lethal. Maybe we're going to see a 3-card block.
Dude, I forgot about the Blood Rod.
Yeah, right?
Jesus.
Brian has a guaranteed arsenal no matter what because of the Heat Seeker. If he hits with the Endless, it's possible he could high roll into a double ice arsenal. See how John chooses to play. Most likely a 3-card block here. Down 13 life. It would take a miracle for him to come back.
We're in the miracle business here at Arcane Games and Events. We peddled them like glue. I don't know. This is coming in for 7. What
I've
we
seen
doing,
a couple
John?
miracle games this weekend.
Absolutely. There have been a number of them.
Crazy comebacks. So he's got Revel, Sonata, Shrill, and I still don't know what that 4th card is. It looks like a 4th red, though.
He definitely runs Drawn to the Dark Dimension. We saw it go crazy in one of his earlier games. And I think it is, no, this is Sonata.
Looks like maybe he's choosing to keep that unknown card.
But here's the thing is you do have the Blood Rot coming, so if you take 1 damage, then yeah, that Blood Rot is representing lethal. So even if you try to Sonata into something, into something else, you need to make sure you have enough to stay alive.
Yeah. So we've got this Viserai versus Lexi game, and then our other semifinals is Lexi versus Oldhim. So will we see Lexi win again? Or, I mean, if the Viserai comes back here and the Oldhim wins, we could get a no Lexi final.
That would be crazy.
After
Is it
4.
likely? No.
Not extremely likely, but
But it could happen.
anything can happen.
Brody Spurlock showing his skill at the casting table as well, bringing us back to the other game, giving us a whole sense of the picture. It's like you should do this more often.
Oh, man. Should we tell the people?
Oh,
should we
no.
sign facing?
Oh, no. All right, let's see. This is coming in for 7. Looks like we're going to be putting 2 cards in front of it, taking 1, which is going to allow the Endless Air to go back to hand. And critically, the Heatseeker will trigger first, so he's going to get to choose if he wants to put that in his arsenal or not.
Oh, man, this is crazy.
So we're going to put the Heatseeker in, which is a Bolton shot.
This is the exact same
Exact
choice
same
he had
scenario, and
earlier.
it looks, I mean, John Ho's at 1 here. How scared are you really of going down from 15 to 1, knowing that he has to keep a blue card in his hand?
Yeah, Brian's just opting for the safe play here. Makes a lot of sense. So, John, I wonder if he doesn't have a blue and he's... Oh, he blocked with a Sonata. I don't know what his plan is here. I'm very curious. I was going to say maybe he's trying to hit a blue off
Hit a blue off the Sonata, yeah, for sure.
Revel and Shrill? Oh, he's pitching Revel.
I mean, I don't even think, I think this is...
Oh, man. And he hits
does
it.
hit. He gets
a
him.
cash-in. Oh, this is crazy.
Oh, wait, because the Cashin's going to draw him 2 more cards.
This is so exciting.
Oh,
Okay.
my gosh. Okay, so we pitch the Shrill. We're going to draw 2 cards with the Cashin. Dude. I mean, it's still tough, but, like, this is the best you could hope
This
for.
is the dream. This is what you have to get.
We're up to 4 cards in hand.
Do we have a blue? I don't know if we have a blue here.
It's another Revel. I think there's a yellow.
He's considering playing Revel.
Just for the Viserai trigger. That was sick.
That was wild.
That was sick.
I was like, I don't know what could possibly. Oh, it's all reds.
Oh, and that's
the
just
game.
gonna do it. Oh, what a close way to attempt to come back from that. The Tome of the Arcanine. He hit it earlier on stream too, but we had to hit a blue. Saw so many cards there, but unfortunately it wasn't able to be enough for John Ho to go ahead and come back in this game, leaving Brian Lorenz, your winner, heading off to the finals of this tournament, the AGE Gold Foil PTI tournament. What a game, Brody Spurlock.
What a game indeed. Fantastic run by John, showing up in the top 4 with Viserai. I don't think we've seen Viserai make a top 8 in a while.
Oh, yeah.
Makes me really happy. That's my favorite hero, so impressive stuff from him.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the last time was, again, you're the captain of your team in the Colin Baltimore. He did quite a good job. I played that deck on our little show the other day.
I guess I shouldn't say a while. It was like 2 months ago Zach made the top 8.
It's
but
true. It's
couple
true.
battle
He
runs since then.
pays the bills for you. You gotta be careful. You can't be bad mouthing the Viserai. But that was it would have been insane to hit the blue. He saw so many cards, but that's the thing with the Viserai deck. You have to be okay with the variance and the highs and lows. The epic highs and lows of high school football and the epic highs and lows of Viserai Rune Blood.
100%. I'm sure Zach will be thrilled to see another Viserai make the top 8.
Yeah, absolutely. Made the top 4 is no small scratch. So in the other matchup, we have the Trench Lexi versus the Oldhim that has just been stonewalling people all day. That was your only draw.
Yeah.
And you didn't even lose in the Swiss rounds, but you did have the draw in the Swiss rounds. He has just been churning through the competition day. He didn't have to play you in the top 8 this time, so he is moving. He's moving right through it, and that trench list, very exciting, very fun to watch. I talked to Evan a little bit about it. He's not like, stoked to be playing into Oldhim with that deck.
That's
so
fair,
it's
yeah.
going to be an interesting matchup to see. Do you know anything about? You say Brian's a friend. Do you know how he feels into the Oldhim matchup? Should it come to that?
I'm not 100% sure. I don't think I've gotten to see any of Brian's games this weekend except for the 2 Lexi Mirrors I played against him. So I'm not sure what his plan is into Oldhim or how his deck looks into it.
Yeah.
I guess we can see his
Yeah, I'm
list
looking at the
here.
thing. We see a last-ditch effort, so that's probably something for some kind of long fatigue plan. 2 of the remembrances, but critically, none of the battering bolts that we saw used so effectively in your tournament runs to take down a number of Oldhims.
Interesting. Yeah, the 2 Remembrance means he's got a lot of late game play. He can go long. I'll be really curious to see how that match plays out if the Oldhim does advance. Let's talk about Trench Lexi real quick.
Let's do it.
Before this weekend, I wasn't sure about Trench. I didn't really believe in it, to be honest, but I got to play against one, and I've seen it in action a couple times, and it seems really cool. It allows you to do a lot more like double arsenal when you wouldn't be able to otherwise. If you would have to commit your snaps or your snaps is already gone, you have 2 arrows. Make use of that kind of thing.
Mhm.
It is an out versus in case against Icelander.
Which is what we saw literally in the last top 8 match.
Yeah, very critical in that matchup. Lots of other like interesting uses for Trench. I'm kind of a fan. I'm gonna have to try it out.
You got to talk to Evan, top 64 at the you were top 8, but he was top 64 at the Pro Tour with the Trench Lexi. He came out there swinging with that deck. It's cool. It allows you. He calls it Codexy because it allows you in particular builds to play as many codexes as you want because you want to ponder every time. It doesn't matter. You just bunk Trench, bunk Trench. It doesn't mean like he would have been watching that game and seeing Brian in the tank about what to Arsenal, and Evan would have been like, chump.
Yeah.
Just use Trench, because I don't even care about my ponders. Blanc.
Yep.
Yes.
I like Codexy. That's great.
Yeah, it's what he's a big champion. Knowing you like it so much, again, his head's gonna be the size of a bowling ball. He's gonna be walking around like,
Dude, I'm gonna have to try it.
Yeah, all right.
This next week, I'm planning to play Ultimate Armories just because I want to
You
play
hate
him a
fun.
couple.
Sorry, what was that?
No, I just want I want to play him a few more times. before he
Yeah.
goes.
That's just again the casual armories. People just show up to have fun. Brody Spurlock, old him.
But I love Ultimate.
No, you got do it last week until Living Legend format. Do you have interest in the Living Legend format, or is that for a later time?
I mean, I don't know what it's gonna look like yet, but I'm really excited for it.
Mhm.
I never got to play Prism in CC, so if she is good in Living Legend format, I think it'd be really cool to learn OG Prism. That's probably my biggest regret in this game is never like getting a chance to pick her up because I hear so many people talk about playing Prism and I like don't know what it was like.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I have the similar like morbid curiosity. Like I never got to play that deck. If I start playing that deck, am I going to start spending ungodly amounts of money on cold foils and full art Herald of Erudition? Because that seems to be what happens. I don't have that money, but I want to play the deck.
You know, that was actually me with Dromai. Recently, I picked up Dromai
Yep.
and played it at a few armories because I wanted to learn it. And I like looked through my collection and I have 1 Marvel Chromai. And I like looked at that Marvel Chromai for a minute and I decided that this is not going in my deck. I don't want any Marvels because I don't want to be tempted to start getting more.
Just doing it all, yeah. It's surprising now when I sit across from a Dromai and they're just normal.
Yeah.
It was like Yuha in the top 8 in Baltimore. I was like, this is a G. This man is just flipping normal dragons. He don't care about his cold foils. He don't care about his Marvel Ashwings. He's just like playing Dromai.
Yep.
It's like I love it. And then you have, it's just. Yeah, it's exciting to see how people like to flavor their decks, but what is it about illusionist players?
I know, right? It's always
The
Prism and
illusionist
Dromai,
players,
yeah.
and it's like LSS totally knows it too because they're printing all these crazy illusions. Like it was the dragons that were Marvel in Uprising because they knew the illusionist players would just snatch them all up.
And I mean, it is really cool to like bling out your deck.
It's so sick.
Dragons look amazing, but
Yeah.
yeah, like I'm in the same boat as you. I'm like, I don't have the extra money to spend on Marvel Dragons for my Dromai deck.
Yeah, you're too busy flying all around the world to play Flesh and Blood. Seems like a good life. So looking ahead till dusk till dawn, you have to imagine that matchup's going to be going a while. We've got some exciting days on the horizon. We've got a tournament coming up in Cincinnati. That looks to be a fun tournament. Dusk till dawn, fast approaching. So it's looking like Prism. You keep talking about Vincent.
I'm more excited for Vincent just because I was a Chain guy.
Yeah.
I'm a Runeblade guy in general. I really want to see Vincent, but I'm excited for both new heroes. If the new Prism plays kind of like the old Prism, then they would solve my issue of never having played Prism. So yeah, I'm really hyped to see both. Also, like all the other cards, it's a supplemental set, and I think like every class is getting something new. So I'm curious to see like what buffs the old heroes get.
Yeah, totally. We've seen all these light heroes or just light affiliated heroes specializations, but haven't seen anything else yet. So curious to see as the spoiler season is going to start in a matter of days. Like next weekend, we're going to start getting all these cards.
Yeah, very soon.
And then the pre-release is coming, man. It's an exciting time.
Yeah, I can't wait.
So we're looking ahead now to the finals. It's going to be Brian Lorenz on Lexi versus either Evan Bridges on Lexi or Matthew Vore on Oldhim, which might be, if it is Oldhim, this will be one of the last times we get the honor and the privilege of getting to watch that friggin' deck grind games out for an eternity.
Yeah, Matthew all weekend has been playing these like slow and steady fatigue games, just taking out Lexi after Lexi.
But he's got a good attitude. I think my greatest fear is sitting across from an Oldhim who's not very nice, because then I would really just be like, you can't do this to me. Like, you can't play this deck and not be nice to me. Like, please, let's have fun, because this sucks. Like, come on. But he's been very kind. He's been joking around with his opponents. I'm like, okay, I like that.
That's what we want to see.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we want to see. You don't want to see the Oldhim just like, block. Sorry, you missed your trigger. I'm like, oh, not like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to get that match to you as soon as we can. Brody, thank you so much for coming on. I
Yeah.
don't know if you noticed, but a lot of people in the chat are saying you're pretty good at this casting thing and you should do it more often. Interesting.
Oh.
Interesting. We'll have to see if we can make that happen sometime. But until then, if you want to see Brody in the booth, you go ahead and let him know on Twitter, let him know on Discord. Tell him we want to see him in the booth a little more often. He's got to stop all this winning and stop doing a little more casting. We have fun up here. Thank you so much for hanging out with us through the semifinal match. Hopefully that match doesn't go another hour and a half, but it's Oldham, so no promises. If we can get somebody else to come on and hang out with you guys in the chat, we will. But until then, we will be back. It'll be me and Blake to bring you the finals of this just incredible 2-day-long event. How was your weekend? Did you have a good time?
Absolutely great. Seriously, the event was so well run.
Yes.
Spacious tables, great judge staff. All my opponents this weekend were really friendly. Like, this has been a really good weekend.
Oh, that's so great to hear. Yay. Yay. If you hear that, come on down to the next one. Come on down to the AGEs, and we're going to have hopefully more battle hardens and stuff in the future. We'd love to have you out here in sunny California. But until then, we're going to be back. Well, not until then. We're going to have another match for you soon. Don't go anywhere. Don't leave yet. Don't go anywhere. We have the finals. It was
Like yesterday. You have to stay.
Yeah,
You cannot leave.
exactly.
You're not allowed to
You gotta listen to this guy. Come on. We're gonna be back as soon as that match is over. If we can get somebody else in the meantime, we will. But shortly, we will be back with some incredible finals, flesh and blood gameplay. We'll see you soon.
choices we all have to make before every single tournament. You know, unless you're just Craig, who plays Oldhim every time, you know, you're actually thinking, should I play somebody else? And that's why I envy people who just specialize in like one thing, and I'm just over here
being bad at
putzing
7
around.
decks.
Yeah, being bad at 7 decks instead of good at one. So we got a special segment coming up. It's one of my favorites. I'm sure it's one of Blake's favorites. You know it. You love it. It's
called?
barraging Blake.
Oh.
It's the
Hell
beatdown
yeah.
on Blake time. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about some things. And
And Trent's going to talk about Guardian cards in the chat and not pay attention to what's going on at all, you know? That's
he might
how
be
it works.
he might be in the past. So, you know,
Yeah.
he's watching the game.
I just realized I'm not watching live. Well, we're going to know that
Shout out to
happened,
Trent.
and everyone else at home that's watching this later will have no clue.
He's going to find out where we're at. But here we are, barraging Blake.
Time to give me the stroke that takes me out forever.
Let's
Here
have
we
some
go.
fun. What's our first topic today? All right, a pre-release report, Blake. How was
Oh, how did my
pre-release for
pre-release
you
go?
at Outsiders? I don't know how mine went. Wasn't great. How about you?
Okay, I don't know where this is getting at, but I went to two pre-releases, one on a Friday night.
Yep, right here at Odyssey
Oh,
Games.
this is what we're getting at. One on a Saturday. It's sealed both times. This
Yep.
isn't the draft thing that we're talking about. My 6-packs, super excited. I got my cold foil tokens. Down and dirty was my majestic.
Ooh.
Ooh, that's gonna not do anything for you. As we were doing it, it was like, okay, I have played Arachne. I know how this works. I'm gonna play solitary confinement Arachne. I'm gonna take these people to the cleaners. I'm gonna win this. I'm taking
Win
Friday
this
night
game.
seriously. And then I play against somebody in round 1, and I was taking it seriously, and I was like, they were like, I'm gonna Spider's Bite because I forgot. And I was like, I'm good on that, because that Spider Bite is gonna own me. And then they were like, all right, I'm gonna rage quit and get out of here. And I was like, oh no, that's not great. Like, but then I played Craig in round 2.
Is that really what happened?
Well,
You know what? If you miss something and your opponent doesn't allow you to happen, you have to live up with that because it was your mistake.
oh well, now we're piling on.
No, I'm just saying that, and it goes both ways. Because if you
Yeah.
let them do it and then you lose because of it,
Then I
that was
feel
your
bad,
choice.
Yeah.
You know, and you put that by asking someone to do that, you put that on them. And
Yeah.
I feel very strongly about this that you probably shouldn't ask unless it's like low stakes. If it's just a regular armory,
But this is a cold foil Uzuri, man.
we're playing for
This
it.
is a
I
cold
won
foil
mine in a
Uzuri.
raffle, so I was
Get
fine.
out of here! If you're gonna play sloppy offense and sloppy, I didn't even know I was sweating that bad. Oh
Hey,
my
look,
God.
it's
like this from now on.
getting down and
So,
dirty in it.
We're getting on a tangent. So basically, then I beat Craig,
Ooh,
and
you
it was
beat
like this is the first time I ever beat Craig in my life. And once again, it was one of those 3 times where when I beat somebody, they go, "What the hell just happened? This is not supposed to be true," and I need to reevaluate my entire life. So Craig is never gonna not play Pile Arachne for his whole time because he looked over at my deck. He had there's like 17 cards in my graveyard, and he was like, okay, I got him on the ropes. There was still 24 cards in my graveyard when he did this.
Oh my
And
god.
he was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, Marcus Brown, like, yeah, it's pre-release. It's still casual area. I don't want to lose to people casually, though. I want to. If you're playing sloppy
It
offense,
is still
you're
your
playing
choice. You're
sloppy
not.
defense.
You're
Yeah.
not. It's not your responsibility to allow other people to
Right.
make mistakes and get away with it. Like,
And then
you
I
don't
lost.
have to do it.
I lost game 3 and 4, and it was awful. And I was like, get me out of here.
It happens.
There was no point of
It happens.
being.
It's casual,
aggro.
but if you're trying to win a prize, then you don't have to give people advantages when they make a mistake.
Outsider report. What we're trying to say is, I spent
Look, we're both mad
$80.
about this.
$80. I got 2 Majestics, an Infiltrate, and a Down and Dirty. No legendaries. No nothing. Ruined relationships for years. Got late to the thing. Woke up. Was tired. Got an ear infection afterwards. Just
Jeez.
everything bad happened at pre-release where I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever do this again. But I love pre-release. But maybe I'll never do this again. Maybe I'll wait until
But I
the
love it.
cards come out. But this is so fun. And it wasn't that fun or whatever, but
Welcome to the chat.
yeah.
You know, It's fine. Pre-release is tough because sometimes you go and you buy some packs and you open a Fable and your life feels amazing. And
Fable
other
opened
times,
up next to me.
oh my god.
Evan got a legendary.
Yeah, we had like
Somebody
3 or 4
else got a legendary
legendaries.
that I was like, oh
And it's just
god,
like-
not this guy.
It's always it's always the bridesmaid, never the bride when it
Yeah.
comes to pre-release. Am I right?
Marcus is keeping us honest. Whoa, loud noises. Yes, somebody showed up for the first time in 3 months I've seen them and dropped 5 chairs literally 3 feet that way. After begging them to come hang out on Tuesdays when there's 25 people, can't make it there, but I'm going to come and just drop a whole bunch of like full-on metal chairs from the WWE as loud as possible on stream.
I mean, you
Right.
you are the heel in this situation,
Okay,
right?
we're going to zoom through these next 3 unless
go.
it's
We
something
both-
really bad.
We both barraged on that one.
Yeah.
Let's see, what's our next topic?
It's
It's the Ice Brute Hero. Rhino,
oh my
Reckless,
god. That didn't even make sense for a second. Ice Brood Hero is not even worth talking about. Okay, so Ice Brood
I don't
Hero.
know what it is. Tell me what it is.
Ice Brood Hero is never going to happen.
Aw,
And
come
everyone
on.
being like, Ice Brood Hero, oh my god, I can't wait for that. Intimidate and Frostbite do not go together. There is nothing that synergizes with that. And you could say, well, that's how Brute cards goes. They don't synergize with each other. I get that argument.
That's the class design.
But if you look at Tales of Aria, are there more 6s and buffs in Ice, Lightning, or Earth? Oh, Earth. How much Ice is in Reinar's card art right there? 0. How much Earth is in his card art?
Yeah, but he's
100.
not the Ice Hero.
Right.
It would be a different
So
Ice
you
Brute.
okay? So of all the cards that Ryan, what is his name? Ice Brood Hero. Let's call him Ice B.
Ice Bee.
No, let's call him Yeti or something. So
Oh, yeah, he
Yeti,
definitely would be a Yeti,
Yeti can use channel Lake Frigid. Why would you want them to? Oh, you can't block from hand.
And you
It
have
doesn't
now
affect
cards
them.
you can pitch. You have more cards
Doesn't
to
affect
pitch.
them. It's like channel Bleak Expanse doesn't work for Brute. What would that do for you?
Roll them dice, though. Find out.
Hypothermia's bust the 08, can't use it. Ice Amulet 08. Like Ice Amulet is like an intimidate, but it's an actual good intimidate. Maybe that's the first argument. You would have to completely make 6 more of those. The Winter's Visit or some bull. All the 6 ice cards from, I don't even know what these cards are called. Tales of Aria. The ones no one used. Winter's Fang or something.
Oh, yeah. What's it? Frostfang.
Frostfang. Everyone in there that uses these cards is like, duh. Yeah, Frostfang doesn't work with barraging, like, all those ice attacks that we're talking about would not work with any of the cards that is currently in the thing. And you're like, yes, you would make new ones.
What if you could
Channel Mount Heroic, barraging.
intimidate all their cards and then give them like 8 Frostbites and deal a bunch of damage? Then they have all their cards but can't do anything.
There's no way anyone behind me would play a deck different than that. Then it would just be 36 people playing Yeti meta.
So it'd basically be a better old him is what we're
Yeah,
deciding
and it's
right
like,
now.
do you want? Oh, the Ice Brute is old him, and we just gave him a shield. Like we've already seen that. Like cheering for Ice Brute doesn't make sense. You don't understand the cards of Brute and how they are. A better
Nobody
thing would be
understands the
Earth
cards of
Brute, where we could Blood Rush Bellow into a Channel Mount Heroic and just do 37 damage in one turn, and we set up for that the whole time. When we Force of Nature, but we can't use that because it's a specialization.
What about a light brute?
Next slide. Let's go.
Here we
It's
go.
not worth talking. Light Brute?
Yeah, man.
Soul Shield? Buyouts? I don't even know about buyouts. Like, buyouts?
What are buyouts?
What is buyouts? So we got, I didn't do the research on Salty Whale. So what's interesting about buyouts is you're buying cards, then they're out.
And now we can't
and
get
people
those
can't
cards.
get them, and it's like, okay, that's what we're talking about. So it's like,
We found the
what
thread.
team are you on? I think this is not barraging Blake down right now. This is a morality question for you. Would you
Welcome to late stage capitalism,
would
where
you-
morality no longer exists.
right? Would you rather have?
Finals
Oh my
time.
God, I'm Brody, but I grew up.
You're a real boy.
I'm crazy. What happened in the other match?
Dude, I was not giving Trenchy Codexy enough credit. I was kind of
Right.
like hedging the audience for it very well is probably going to be Oldhim. Evan Bridges on Code Trenchy just went ahead and won that freaking game, dude, against Matt Vore. It's Matt Vore's only loss of the day. He's been playing just an incredible tournament this weekend, but Evan Bridges literally had to find the exact line, pitched a beautiful endgame stack with Rain Razors, 2 red cards. That final attack for 7 was enough to close the thing out with literally his last cards in the deck. It was so sick.
How did he get the last resource?
With a trench. Actually, so
Oh,
he
okay,
he
it
he
wasn't
sets
that.
up. Well, it was he sets up his final stack. He sets up his final turn. He comes in. Matt Vore comes in with the last 2 cards in his hand. It's a command and conquer. So and he's at 6. What does Evan do? Trench away the card. Block with the trench. Go to 1. Win the next
Oh
turn.
wow.
So we are in for
Buy your
our.
trenches now, please.
We are in for the finals. It's Evan Bridges. This
Oh.
is our round 1 of the day. We reduked this ish. We came in here and we said we're following this guy, and he's
Right.
here at the finals facing Brian Lorenz, the 8th seed of this top 8, and we got a trench versus non-trench Lexi game. I'm so hyped, dude. That was so sick.
I think one thing that I've always kind of thought there was some mystery to is like when you're playing in your hometown in your own bed and you get to go to your same coffee shop that you like to go to instead of going to some random hotel or sleeping with 5 other dudes in 2 beds.
Whoa.
Maybe this is like hometown advantage of we can do this. Evan, we're rooting for you or we're rooting against you. It depends on how many Rain Razors you draw.
Evan went ahead, elected to go second here, and did not load his with his Voltaire whatsoever, but we are going to go ahead and we're going to start this game. We're going quick. We're loading the drill shot and we're firing it. It's for 4 with go again. It's time to go.
Reduke this ish. That's what we were saying too.
DM Armada and Michael Fang in the chat. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Everybody who's been here all weekend. It's been so fun to hang and watch these games with you.
Right.
Brian Lorenz.
The other thing that happened too, I guess we should say this, is as Evan shot the last damage, he yelled out trench at probably 85
did.
decibels and popped off.
He did go ahead and,
So
he yelled it pretty loud.
Brian has a 9:10 flight. Isn't it only like 4:30 right now?
It's 7:30.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Brian's got. We gotta get the game to move.
Oh, Michael Fang says Baltimore is where it's a hometown for me. Well, great. I don't think there'll be any.
Well, because he won the
Any major
because he
tournament.
won that protest.
Right, no,
Yeah,
that's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
okay, okay.
That worked out. That was like 50 grand or whatever it was. Jeez. We're only doing 500 today, but Evan needs it just as bad as everyone else. We're making a hand. We're paying attention.
So now that was a codex of inertia there, because that's what Evan Bridges wants to do. He wants to be playing his codexes out because he doesn't care about the ponder token. That inertia might be relevant for Brian Lorenz here. We're starting off with the starting off with the Rain Razors, which means we're more than likely going to follow that up with
a big arrow.
a big arrow. Now the Rain Razor's coming out first because we needed to fill up that arsenal slot or get rid of that arsenal slot. So this is just going to be coming in for 7 with go again. The inertia token sitting there getting ready to go ahead and shore up the arsenal at the end of Brian Lorenz's turn. You can tell I'm talking fast. These players are moving fast. They know Brian's
Right.
got a flight to catch.
Really? Is that what's happening? What's interesting is if we're going fast, I'm assuming Brian has a little bit more left in the tank or whatever we're talking about, because Evan just did the Oldham
This crazy,
massacre your brain
crazy
matter.
match. Yeah.
Just got here, but Trench, what does Trench do?
Trench going to let you put the bottom card on the bottom of the deck, make a resource. This is going to be
Yeah.
remorseless. Now, we've already committed 2 blocking cards on this chain. We blocked for 6. This is coming in again for 7. Are we just giving the whole hand here? It looks like we might.
Evan says, I've never blocked
We're
my
blocking
whole hand
for
in my
3.
life.
We're taking 4, which means we maybe are just keeping a blue card to send this command and conquer, but there is no, why would we do that? There's no arsenal.
Pitching a blue to get rid of the blood rot, to stop the bleeding, literally.
It's the same thing. He's just keeping a card in his deck because that was a
Right.
2 block there. So it pretty much does the exact same thing. But now we're back to Brian. He has taken the entire tempo of this game, but he's not starting this turn with an arsenal. And Evan, after facing down a Rain Razor turn, is only at 29.
Right. And the thought process is maybe I can get through this turn a little better And he said, take it. We're not blocking with trench.
These players are moving so fast.
Yeah.
This is a Bolton shot. Now, this one threatens a reload. This is important when you have the tempo like Brian does. We're going to
Block
take 2
2,
cards.
don't do rain razors.
Here comes
okay,
a
cool.
Codex.
They're
We've
going
got-
so fast.
They're going so fast.
I'm
This
just
is
going to shut up.
this is a Codex coming down. We're making a Frailty. We're making a Ponder. He has the resource available. Looks like he's just going to grab the Infecting Shot. It represents the most damage. He brings it to
Right.
the front of his graveyard.
And he can Tunic, because Tunic is better than Trench in this exact scenario.
He doesn't even need,
doesn't
the,
need the
tunic,
tunic.
And we're just, wow, we're just
Oh, he could
taking
have
it.
Trenched, yeah.
And we're pondering off the Codex. He's got a Frailty and a Blood Rob. That's tough for
Does
Evan. to
Command and
remember.
Conquer come across the table this game or not? Or
So-
not this turn or not?
This is
Oh my God, for
premeditate
9?
into Command and Conquer, and we're going to finish this turn with an Arsenal. If this hits, we blow up the Arsenal. If this hits, we make a Ponder
Oh, it's
token.
for 8. You got
'cause the
you got
frailty. It's for
Cool,
frailty.
cool.
Command and Conquer for 8. We can be, let's be hyped again, but let's make it for 8.
Oh my God, it's
For
8?
8?
That's crazy.
No,
That
because
would
of the
put him down.
premeditate.
Oh, wow. No, it actually is high input.
Oh,
yes,
wow.
Yeah. It was funny. There was each of the last couple games, they've had probably 15 people around them. And the last 4 or 5 AGEs that we've done, like there's maybe like 4 people that are watched the finals.
Long
so it's
days.
just kind of crazy of like people are sticking
Uh,
around
I
after
think
their drafts.
They had Evan just take the damage that. Oh, he's just representing what he had actually taken on the last turn. So now this is Brian, who's now just going to have to draw up, make a 6-card hand. So now Evan has gone ahead and stolen the tempo back from Brian. He's down a good, healthy
Endless Arrow's
13
good.
life deficit. But yeah, flipping the Endless Arrow off the Lexi activation. We're going to load with Voltaire. It's going to be a Heat Seeker. We're coming in with the Heat Seeker with Go Again. We have Joshua Meyer in the chat. He was here moments ago.
He's probably listening to this like it's NPR right now on the way home.
If he's driving,
Drive safe.
please be safe.
Don't hit a trench.
Yep.
Is there? You can literally hit a trench with your car, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or is that a ditch?
He would run into the
Okay, whatever.
trench. Let's hope it doesn't happen. This is coming in for 6,
Blocking.
blocked for 6. Now we're coming in with the Endless Arrow. This doesn't have Go Again currently represented. I think he flipped it at the start of the turn, right?
Yes.
So maybe we're going to be using our snaps on this turn, perhaps. Let's see, because he does still have the Voltaire activation.
Do you want to be attacking or blocking?
We're going to go ahead and use our Snapdragons right away, so we're getting that thing right back to hand. Activate Voltaire for the second time. We're putting it in once more.
This is the last match. This is the finals. Whoever's
Taking
winning
4,
this is going to win.
Going back, that had Go Again. Now we're activating our Bullseye Bracer, so we're putting in a Bolton shot. So this one's going to be coming in for 5, threatening a reload on hit. We've already blocked for 2 on this chain, so if you block now, you wish you had blocked earlier.
Too late.
Too late, because here's
Brian Lorenz, what are you going to do?
Josh Meyer eating food. Wonderful. So
Block
this is
it
now going
out.
to stop the turn, so we're just going to go ahead and we're going to activate Quiver because we had the Go Again. We're not going to hit it this
whiff.
time, so we activated the Bullseye Bracers, but we did once again take all the cards and we shored up that life lead quite a bit, but critically, we've used both our Snapdragon Scalers and we've used our Bullseye Bracers if we're Evan here. So Brian Lorenz is just going to go ahead and use his Tunic, this is why it's good, to throw a Heat Seeker even when he wasn't able to do anything
True.
else.
I think that is something you need Evan to whiff on the Rustling Leaves. That's how you beat him on Tuesdays. That's how you're going to have to beat him here. That's the first whiff. If you do like spin 3 to look at the top card of your deck and do nothing, kind of sucks.
Yeah, kind of sucks.
No. But whenever it's draw your best arrow in your deck that's just on the top waiting for you, it's pretty good. Card's good when it's good and bad when it's bad. Wow.
Hey, look at that.
This is crazy.
Welcome to Flesh and Blood.
commentary. Yeah. What?
Heat Seeker coming in for 5, representing not only 5 damage, but resuming a 3-card hand, right?
Right.
Or a 6-card hand, because we're going to get the Heat Seeker trigger. It's a Command and Conquer, so
Conquer,
currently
face
no
up.
Go Again on either of those cards. But Evan Bridges at the 10-point life deficit here. Is he going to be able to find any disruption to interrupt Brian's next turn, or is Brian just going to be able to come at him with everything he's got, given that Evan's sitting at an uncomfortable
Right.
13?
And I think the callback from earlier is who's playing the more high rolly version of this deck? It's Evan. So, going down 10 life maybe doesn't really matter if we just hit our 3 best cards in a row and say goodbye.
Mm-hmm. So we're using the final pitch of our Codex of Frailty. We're putting
This
another
is
Endless
so
Arrow.
good. Endless Arrow, please. 4 with Go Again. Maybe
Where's that
5.
extra,
Probably
doesn't need
5.
the extra pitch. I don't really know what he's pitching to here.
That's probably what they're saying.
Yep.
What's going on here?
Yep.
Put that card back.
We're moving too fast. We're moving too fast. So this is,
Thank
yeah.
you,
it does-
Brian, for doing that for us.
You know what that is? That is an ability to maintain board state. He
Mhm.
should get instead of a citation, he should get a gold star.
You can
Nope.
trade that into one of our
Friendly vendors here.
Yeah, for
Thank
a
you to
pack of
Fabrec and
sleeves.
Collector Legion, Savage Lands News, and Fab Metal Tokens. Metal Fab Tokens. Which one is it?
Yep.
Metal Fab Tokens? Yeah.
Yep.
Metal's first.
Fab Metal. Metal Fab.
Wait.
Chris Hiley looking on behind us saying, dang, I wish I could be like Evan Bridges this weekend.
He said,
Picked the wrong Ranger, dang
package
it.
deal no longer. Evan package deal Bridges coming in. Where's the rest of the experience at the top table?
Sheesh. No, we would never say that. That is not what I always said. But he did smile. Brian's like, I will blog, just do it. Okay, we were pitching that again, but we have to actually do something this time.
We've already used our Snapdragon Scalers here, so there's a limit to the amount we can threaten on this turn. That Winter's Bite would have taken a card, but instead we're using it for pitch. So we have to imagine Evan wants to use these other cards in his hand or save something for his arsenal if he didn't throw the Winter's Bite out here to disrupt Brian's next turn.
There's the Endless Arrow that we knew about, because he does have 2. This is how you can not go infinite. That's kind of crazy, but you can go almost infinite. And by what I mean by that is out of nowhere, just do 25 damage.
Yeah.
Instead of it's just 4.
Yeah.
It's never just 4.
Unfortunately, without the equipment available to Evan that he's already cashed in, it's going to be challenging for him to actually get that much value out of these Endless Arrows. This one's going to be coming in 4/5 because of the Art of War buff.
And blocking 3 and taking 2 isn't the worst idea, because you could gum up Evan's hand, or he couldn't draw some of his other power cards.
Yep.
Because, oh, I have to put another one in there.
Oh, you know what he might be going for here? He might be, once again, trying to hit the quiver.
Wrestling?
Yeah, because he's got 2 floating. We're taking another 5. We had to go again.
Cool. Now
This
we're
is the quiver. Oh, we didn't hit it again, so now we just have to throw the final, or not the final, but we have to throw another one. This is coming in for 5.
I don't think you care if you block this. 'Cause
Yeah,
you're gonna do a command and conquer probably to end your turn. Command and conquer will kind of take the tempo back.
Absolutely. I mean, we do have the trench, and there's only 1 card in the arsenal, so the trench is going to protect the arsenal zone, but it's still going to be damage. All right, so this is Snapdragon Scalers or Pump. It's a Snapdragon Scalers. This is just coming in 4/4. Next up, we have
He
1
said, take
floating.
it that quick.
Yeah, he said take it.
What the
He's
heck
trying to
is
get this man
going
home. He's trying to get this
on?
man home. That was a Bolton shot, Snapdragon, 4 damage taken by Evan, going right down to 9. Now here's an infecting shot with go again. This is going to have 5 damage attached to it and a blood rut coming on the back end.
Just block with your whole hand if it's not
Boom.
3 of a kind. That's what you can do here.
Codex
Just
a
block with your
frailty
whole
to close
hand.
this game out, or to close this turn out, perhaps. Here's a frailty, here's a ponder. We're going to go get another 1-cost arrow. It's probably going to be that infecting shot. It just represents the most damage, and we have the 1 floating.
Is it in? No, we know it is. We're joking.
Is
He
it
could
in there?
also Rustling Leaves. Don't forget Brian has that as well.
He could. I just don't know if he has the pitch available to him this turn.
When you're this far at the end, Remorseless is so good too, because it's like, oh, you were waiting for me to do something? Well, I'm just going to not let you do that.
Yeah, so now once again, we got that ponder off the Codex of Frailty, so now here you go. Evan just had to pass with his whole
Is
hand.
that a 0-cost arrow? Evan, flip it over. We knew what it was. Okay. Hey, it's the same endless arrow I've hit you with 3 times already.
And if you want to stop it, you're going to have to block with either a piece of equipment or 2 cards, so this might just be 4 damage.
It's
Going-
got some of your hair on it because he shot you in the head, bro. Oh, he has a flight. Oh, he's got a flight. You know what? LA airports are notoriously so easy to get in.
So
at.
easy, they're quick.
Good luck.
They're
Brian.
quick.
Yeah, you may have to use
They
your prize
don't-
money to buy a second flight.
They don't give you any stress whatsoever.
Evan. Did you just hear everyone go like this? Evan. Evan.
Looks like we're just blocking for 3, preserving some life. We're okay with Mr. Bridges getting that arsenal back at the end of this turn.
It's just for 3 because of frailty. So it's an easy block. And now 5 cards total. If any of these are 3 of a kind or Rain Razors, this could be it.
It's going to be a Rain Razors, still without a 3 of a kind, but this is now an Endless Arrow, 4/6. And there's a no block in Evan Bridges' hand. We do see that Art of War perhaps going to be used in a defensive manner, but no, we're just blocking for 6, and we're just going to shore up that turn once again.
Wow.
These folks here, they know what they're trying to do. Let's see how Evan wants to take this turn. He's going to go ahead and activate Voltaire. If that's a Codex, not do much with it. And it is a Codex, so he's just keeping the
Nice.
floating up.
We don't. It's not a zero cost arrow. That would be too lucky. Not saying his luck has run out, and it said his luck will continue again.
We are going to reveal the command and conquer
Oh!
that we cannot pay for, so we're just pondering
Luck
in. It looks like
ponder.
another
Nice.
Codex.
Now we both have a command and conquer. Go, 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 go.
Laced with Blood Rot into a Falcon Wing. It already has go again, so this is going to be
Take
coming in
that.
for
Here's
6.
6.
Here's 6. Wow.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I don't know if the Blood Rot? It's actually 8. Gotcha. You thought it was 6? Yeah, right. Have you ever seen that video where she goes, "You thought this was a rabbit? You thought this was a rabbit? It's Winnie the Pooh."
I haven't seen that.
Dude, if you know that reference, everybody's like, "That's the coolest video of all time." Premeditate into Command and Conquer.
Yeah.
You said you did this to me once.
Yeah, I can do it too. We're going to trench away one of them.
But
But here comes big 9 damage at Mr. Bridges.
if you're at home and you didn't just yell "trench" really loudly, what are you doing?
Woof. So we're losing our arsenal anyway here, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to lose our New Horizons to bat. We're going to use that to save enough life to do something on this turn. It's going to be activate the quiver, and we missed it
Jeez.
again.
He's whiffed 3 times on Quiver.
We
That's
missed
how you
it
have to beat Evan
again.
on Tuesdays.
Oh,
The luck runs out, bro.
we're just going to arsenal the final Rain Razors
It's
that
not
we've
luck.
seen.
He's so good at this game. All right, let's be real. Brian has a lot of cards and only 2 health left. 3 of a kind. Nah, nah, nah. We did this yesterday.
Did he have an inertia? Is he Mero? I can check. Or was that the turn before? That was the turn before.
Yeah.
That was the turn before. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think. Look how many cards are in this person's hand.
Yeah, another 3 of a kind.
What
This
the
is going to
heck
be.
is going on?
This is going to be tough to get through. We're going to block for 3, go down to 1.
Dude, how did Evan blow it?
Block with 2 blocks here. Block with our Rain Razors. Trench.
Yeesh. So close, Evan.
That is not going to be able to be survived by Mr. Bridges here. The 3 of a kind going ahead and shoring up this game as the prizes are immediately doled out.
Yell,
This man's
open
got
it.
a flight. This man's got a flight.
Open it! Open it! Open it!
I mean, that's 15 minutes.
Yeah.
We said it was going to be quick, but they were really moving at
I
Mach
mean,
6
we're not going to
speeds.
get an interview with him either.
No,
He's got to get to Burbank.
We could talk to Evan again.
Yeah, we could fight Evan on the thumb worm.
Well, well, well. I guess
Right.
we'll stay here just to see in case he opens that thing, but most likely not.
I think every time we talk about the Lexi mirror match, yes, Evan is running the more over the top. I'm going for broke to high roll my opponent. Usually, what happens in the mirror match? How many 3 of a kinds did you draw?
Mhm.
How many 3 of a kinds did your opponent draw? Oh, I drew 3. My opponent drew 1. You win. Same thing. 3-2, 3-3. And it'll be like, oh my God! It went to the end.
Oh, he came right now. He came right over. You want to talk to him?
Sure.
We got Brian Lorenz coming up right now.
BL. Big winner, not big. Oh my goodness. Put this on then. Let me click this button. Congrats.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. By the way, you won a medal, so I don't know how this is going to get through the
Oh
metal
my gosh.
detector.
All right.
Let's do the, I don't know if there's a song that goes with this.
Oh
but
my gosh.
here you
Thank
go.
you. That's so cool.
You played probably 4 other people that have one of these and beat them all. How was
Awesome.
your 2 days here?
It's been awesome. Yeah, this event was super well run. It's been a blast. Yeah, day 1 had some great games. I ended up losing
Nice.
my win into Majin Bay on Kano. And then,
You
yeah,
said,
ran
who
it back
cares? I'm
today.
going to run it back today and win it
That's
all.
great. Yeah. I lost to another Kano in Swiss, but then
Nice.
been running it back. Yeah.
Kano's going to living legend in like 2 years. You'll be
Maybe.
fine.
That's right. That's right. I even packed the
Oh.
Heart of Ice, but it was
Yeah,
not
that was
enough on its own.
earlier where I was like, you had Heart of Ice, and I was like, oh, they were like, should he play it or not? And I was like bullying. I think you know this Mercy person because they know you have a fight or whatever.
Yeah,
They've been rooting for you all day.
I do need to run. Yes,
Yeah.
that's my
But
partner. Mercy,
congrats.
and
I'm
yeah.
proud of you. How
Thank
many
you.
people did you beat today total?
I don't know.
can't even
Let's six
remember.
or
He's crushing
nine. Nine.
You say, throw everything you got at Pasadena
No,
at
8,
me. I'm
8.
good.
I lost to Brody in Swiss as well. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, somebody else beat him, so
that's right.
it was great. Oh, what are you gonna do with the gold foil? Do you know?
Yeah, I will. I'm gonna sell it.
Okay, great. Yeah.
It's not for me. The
If you're-
PTI though, happy about.
Hell
so
yeah.
all good.
Well, congrats. We'll see you at Players Championship. If you want to fly back over here, go for it.
Yeah, I'll.
August.
Well, we'll see.
You'll probably
Yep.
qualify just off of one win. 'Cause
Well, we'll see.
we just
Awesome.
massacred everyone's points by everyone else. Well,
Yep.
congratulations once
Thank
again.
you.
Thanks for coming out. We're happy for you.
Awesome.
Lexi.
Thanks for running everything. I do want to say I had 2 yellow Raging Onslaughts in the list for Oldham. I was really hoping to show that off, but
Now the people know.
now everyone knows.
Um,
The text out. Raging
uh,
Onslaught.
We'll go get
All
your
right.
planes.
Now I
and
gotta
go
run.
have fun. Yeah. We'll be right back.
And there you have
Wow.
it, folks.
2 days.
2 days came down to 2 Lexis in 2 different days in the top 2 of these 2 days. I'm tired.
48 hours. 16 top 8 people. 2 winners.
2 Lexis.
I drank 32 water bottles. We were staying hydrated. We had some food poisoning issues.
You had some
we
near-death
had some
experiences.
people selling cards, and oops, I got to buy those back. We had Honda Pilot get a PTI. That guy just got a PTI. Brian.
Brian, it was
Uh,
it was a weekend of incredible games, incredible hangs.
Lexi's King. Lexi King.
Lexi
Queen.
King Queen. She
Like,
both. She
if-
both, baby.
If you're not playing Lexi and you're not playing something that can target her, what are you doing right now in Flesh and Blood?
Losing.
That was a quick answer. I love that. Arc Light Sentinel is coming back.
It's true.
So I don't care if you 3 of a kind and Rain Razors. You got to be a little bit more disciplined now.
Little
because
disciplined.
ALS is coming back for you.
Yeah.
Arc Light Sentinel,
Yeah.
pitch 6, ruin your turn. I can do it 3 turns a game. I don't care if I have 32 health. I've got all these angels blocking me. Prism is coming. We will be next week.
Prism comes for us all.
Next month, when we have
Like
our
2 weeks,
next
2 weeks.
AGE, there will be new characters, correct?
2 weeks, yes. New characters. That's
So,
coming back. Oldham's
This is
leaving.
the last meta you're going to see of this. We're going to be having probably some Vincent players because people love Runeblade. There's 4 people that have been playing Dromite because they love Illusionist so much, but they're probably going to switch right back to
Without a doubt.
Prism.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. It's not going to be the same in just a couple weeks. We're going to have Oldham leaving the format, Light and Shadow cards suffusing the format with whatever incredibly intricate combinations and powerful cards they are going to bring into this whole world. So Lexi, undeniably the top dog, the strongest deck, somewhat
Right.
oppressive in its winning. However, I don't. This was the Lexi format. We really kind of walked through it. I mean, Oldham won the Pro Tour, but this has been the Lexi format, I think, at the local level and at the kind of regional level. You've had to get through Lexi if you want to have any shot at winning these events.
Right.
But without, I think without seeing what Dusk Till Dawn does, it might not be time to be making any changes, because who knows how these new cards are going to impact the meta. Do you know?
No?
I mean,
Bologna, man. Bologna's going to give all your angels +1. And then Lexi's going to go, I don't block.
Bologna is baloney.
Bologna. Oh, really? You got him there. LA got to top 2 both days, but lost to somebody that had a flight in here. So not defeated, but we will be back.
Stronger than ever.
Hopefully.
Stronger than ever.
We got to beat these people flying in here. That is.
No, we need them because now they're you said because now they're going to come back because they want to kick our
Oh,
butts.
it's so easy. Yeah, no, it's not so easy. It was very hard for everyone that won a game today.
Hey! Shout out to Justin
Ryan.
Lewog, Ryan Allred. Shut up. This is these are the brains and the brawn and the heart
And the
behind
guy
and
taking
Nick
pictures.
behind Arcane Games and Events.
We're gonna get new B-roll for the first time in
Christine's
years.
gonna come in. Christine's gonna run. This is
Yeah.
we're gonna get to meet the supercomputer.
Dude.
This is the supercomputer.
She's the
Who's
one who
been-
tells me to look at the camera.
She's walking all the way away, but she's coming up. Justin, you want to say anything? You want to say any thank yous? Nope.
No,
Okay.
no, thank you.
Justin is the only reason we are all here doing this. His lovely wife Christine. This is the team here. These are the people making this all happen. Thank
and
you so
the
much to them.
Welches, that's part of it. Okay, we are gonna go away. We want to do one more thank the people. What are they? The sponsors?
Yep. Go for it. You got it.
Okay, let me. Okay. Oh my God. Sponsor. We are sponsored by the Collector Legion that was in that corner. Thank you for. Yeah, you guys can't see where I pointed. Fabric. Tony's at home with COVID, but thank God he didn't come here and get us all sick. Thanks, Tony. Fabric is where you go to get more stuff. Also, Savage, those guys from yesterday.
Savage Lands News.
We're giving out the third mat sometime today.
I kind of feel like we have to give it to Evan for that first turn in that.
Okay,
first game.
we'll give it to
I
Evan.
I know you might not like that, but that was the craziest thing we saw.
Somebody that works with us for sure. Let's give it to them. We just had fun for 2 days. I think that's a thing that maybe sometimes you forget about sometimes with Flesh About is have fun. Shoutouts to Randy for talking to us about some other stuff today. That was an interesting thing. Maybe we'll highlight a friend from our community and what they do just to show you the other side of the bag with all your decks in it. I'm talking a lot. We did it. We got through this weekend, and I'm very proud of everybody, and thanks for tuning in.
We'll see you guys next month for the July AGE Open and Battle Hardens and events in the futures. We love you. There's Bryce. He was in the top 8. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It honestly was so fun hanging out with the chat and talking to all of you. And we just got to see some incredible games. And we look forward to seeing you at the July AGE Open.
We'll have another Battle Harden next year.
Battle Harden. And we have our Players' Championship coming up in August. So get ready for that. That's going to be sick. We love you.